Chapter 508, Seo Ran's Family 3. He's screaming so much it makes me feel sorry. However, there's nothing I can do. The end is approaching and there's no way I, who is only at the early sacred vessel stage, can make proper measures. For the sake of the living beings of the purple gold realm, at least until the end, it would be better for Ban Ta to take charge. It's unfortunate. I'll have to wait for the next opportunity. Beek Woon and Hei Lin just smack their lips and turn away, while Yu O and Ya Eum looks at me for a moment with a sense of regret. And Ban Ta suddenly rolls his eyes and bares his teeth. Yes, congratulations, Taoist Seo, but do you happen to know, among us sacred masters, it is customary to give an initiation ceremony when a junior succeeds in becoming a sacred master. This is the first I'm hearing of it. Of course, it's the first time. This is a tradition passed down only within the purple gold realm. I remember Ban Ta being the first sacred master of the purple gold realm. I am not a sacred master of the purple gold realm, so I don't believe there's a reason for me to undergo that initiation. In celebration of Junior's advancement to sacred master, I, Ban Ta, will give the best initiation ceremony ever. Kagagugu. Above Ban Ta's head, a purple thundercloud appears. Inside the purple cloud, pure white lightning rumbles. The thundercloud gradually grows in size, until it envelops the entirety of cedarwood painting. He's really angry. I silently click my tongue and decide to accept his strike for now. And in the next moment, Quarvirarung, the purple thundercloud strikes directly towards me, pounding the entire cedarwood painting. This insane sacred master, does he intend to annihilate me? From within the storm of the purple thundercloud, I summon the three great ultimates behind me. But the three great ultimates waver like candle flames in the face of the purple storm. He's drawing upon the power of the purple gold realm to attack me. At this rate, the entire cedarwood painting will collapse. Of course, there is another option. If I sever my synchronization with cedarwood painting, this thundercloud targeting me will only push me into distant space, leaving cedarwood painting untouched. The choice between perishing with cedarwood painting or abandoning my sacred master position here is laid out in front of me. Though it may seem like a petty move, this attack feels like the regret of Ban Ta, who has held the position of sacred master for 500,000 years and still hasn't found a successor. Can I endure? As I struggle with all my might. Wowung. Something is added around the power of the three great ultimates. This is the power of cedarwood painting itself. That power is supporting me. Is it because I have taken the role of sacred master that I can draw upon the world's power? But the power of the decaying corpse realm alone is not enough. Greater power. I need greater power. Greater power. Even more formidable power. It's at the moment that thought crosses my mind. Kiyaving. Gradually, Ban Ta's thundercloud seems to slow down, and the world momentarily darkens. Is this stopping time temporarily through attraction force? No, it accelerated my consciousness. I realized the identity of the force accelerating my consciousness. The will that has waited for a long time for Ohisio or those like her, the heavenly rejected. This is definitely an inheritance from an ender. Payet. At the same time, an illusion appears before my eyes. It's an illusion of a monster. That monster is a sword cultivator. Every time the golden monster moves, thousands and hundreds of millions of golden swords sway from its body, piercing throughout the universe. Within that vision, I notice the monster is fighting someone. It's Hyung-Gui. The girl with a ponytail and donned in black martial attire is dancing. The monster roars. The entire universe trembles at the monster's utterance, and the sharp energy the monster emits cuts the universe. However, the essence of the sword, which seems to split heaven and earth, cannot penetrate inside the dance of the girl. Within her dance, within the circle inside, nothing can intrude, and everything seems to scatter into nothingness. Trying to resist the terrifying force of that circle, I unknowingly find myself clenching my fist. The colorless glass sword is held in my hand. Then a familiar movement begins from her. The girl who peacefully draws a circle. Everything around that girl vanishes, leaving just a single circle between heaven and earth once again. In the next moment, Pazazek, the circle shatters, and the darkness of heaven and earth is lifted. The golden monster, battling within the cosmic space, is shattered to pieces. You have reached one wheel, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. However, you have not fully obtained mandala, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Would you then, perhaps, be able to make the flower bloom? The girl who shattered the golden monster simply moves her hand. With that movement, all parts of the monster's body are instantly moved into the interdimensional void and annihilated. However, one single part resembling a thigh does not move according to the girl's will. Seeing that, the girl gives a small exclamation. You've bloomed the flower. You've set foot somewhat into Parinirvana, Chinese letter, but what does that even matter? With that, I emerge from the illusion. Yet I do not escape a certain ecstasy that has captivated me. And without a word, I let my sword hang and aim it at Banta's thundercloud. Boing! Following Hyung Guai, I tried drawing a circle. Within the sword movement that carries neither sword energy nor intent, Banta's thundercloud is cleanly sliced in half. What? Banta shows a shocked expression and retracts the thundercloud momentarily from me. However, I ponder the meaning of the sword swing I just performed, paying no mind to the external situation. This is one wheel, Chinese letter. A single circle appears before my eyes. Now I understand. This circle is nothing special. Perhaps it has been inside me from the very beginning. Another name for this circle is seated detachment, entering hope, Chinese letter. In the realm of tribulating heavens, I condensed all of myself to create the all-heaven sword. The owner of the void likely compressed all of the previous realms and discovered the wheel, Chinese letter. I see, this is Hyung Guai, or rather, the main body of the one who uses the name Hyung Guai, the realm name of the owner of the void. As I confirm what is called one wheel, I once again compress my martial realm. Wowung! I raise my all-heaven sword. Compressing the formless sword once created the all-heaven sword. Compressing the formless sword while wishing that all the colors of my life would be imbued within it, I named it all-heaven sword. A single strike tempered from everything in my life. That is the all-heaven sword. That is seated detachment entering hope. I've been drawing a circle. I can see a certain circle within the all-heaven sword. In truth, every scene and moment of my life has been drawing this circle. Beyond the scene I thought was flat, there is another scene. Like both sides of a coin. And just as continuously spinning the coin eventually turns it into a sphere, my life has, in fact, always been overlapped with death. As life and death have always been rotating within me, drawing a circle, the perfect circle has always been within me. Gazing into the enlightenment of the owner of void, I swing the sword again as if entranced. And I look towards the next moment. Beyond one wheel. The realm I have named void shattering. Beyond the movements of the owner of the void, I naturally hear the realm name she coined. Mandala, Chinese letter. Beyond the all-heaven sword, the wheel Chinese letter seems to rotate, and countless images are drawn around it. It is the life of the entity known as Seo Yun Hyan. My life is drawn into a mandala and seems to scatter throughout the entire world. Then finally, the very last moment. Pazasa. The mandala shatters to pieces. Just as the circle shattered. My life returns to nothingness, Chinese letter. Is this the end? For some reason, my throat tightens. But in the next moment, I feel something beyond that nothingness. It is a fragrance. Though I can't identify which flower's scent it is, the instant I inhale that incredibly fragrant aroma, I feel as though I could let go of everything. Beyond that void, Chinese letter, where nothing exists except the overflowing unknown fragrance. It's as if I can hear the realm name of void that Jang Ik called the third step before the throne. Udambara, Chinese letter. Yes. One wheel, Chinese letter. Mandala, Chinese letter. Udambara, Chinese letter. These are the great steps pioneered by the owner of the void. Quarrung. As soon as I realize these realms, I feel as if thunder is crashing in my mind again. Red lotus, Chinese letter. Prajna, Chinese letter. Dragon flower, Chinese letter. This is another realm found in the memories of the golden monster. It somehow does not seem to be the original realm of the monster, but I can clearly sense that the entity trained its power in accordance with this realm to oppose the power of the owner of the void. And simultaneously, I can sense a commonality between these two realms. It is that they each describe the ultimate of their realm as something alive. Udambara and Dragon Flower. They are all names of legendary flowers and trees. They are things with life, as if treating martial arts Chinese letter as something truly alive. Feeling this, I suddenly realized something. 3 flowers Wuji Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter. At some point, like Zhang Ix 3 steps before the throne, I started collectively referring to my seated detachment, entering hope, my void shattering, and the next third realm as 3 flowers Wuji. Thinking about it, there was no trigger for that. Just at some point, I thought to call the martial art realms of the middle boundary 3 flowers Wuji and did so. It has nothing to do with flowers, so why did I name this 3 flowers Wuji? Chills. I realize a terrifying fact. It was today. 3 flowers Wuji. I realized that it's only today that I got the trigger to call the martial art realms 3 flowers Wuji. Insane. The moment I identified the term 3 flowers Wuji on this timeline, on this very day, the realm 3 flowers Wuji was imprinted across all my timelines. In other words, beyond the timelines of the regressor me, it engraved the realm into the me who had yet to witness the legacy of the ancient Ender in the peaceful cloud realm. I understand that fact and how it was made possible. An ancient Ender's power, it's the power of an ancient Ender. A terrifying authority that engraves all realms even into my past self, just from meeting at this moment. It's a bone-chilling ability that is in no way inferior to regression. Come to think of it, Kim Yon from a previous cycle said so. That our authorities aren't just a broad consciousness domain, heavenly golden thunder body, ghostly yin transformation immortal root, and such. Such things are just the trivial fragments that emerged when the true power on the plane of fate was manifested onto the plane of chi. This is the true authority of an Ender who has fully harnessed the power within the plane of fate. It isn't a joke, it's an authority on par with regression. Depending on its use, it's an authority that could even render regression as something trivial. Hyog. Having confirmed the new realm name and the authority of a previous Ender, I look around. This place is. I realize where I am. My physical body had briefly danced a sword dance in ecstasy on the peaceful cloud continent of the peaceful cloud realm. But now my soul is on the underside of the peaceful cloud continent. In other words, I have come to the backside of the flat decaying corpse realm. This is. There I see a mandala Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter. It is a mandala of a mountain Chinese letter of cedarwood Chinese letter drawn on it. A giant cedarwood mountain Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter. And a mandala inscribing the saga of a hero who entered the cedarwood mountain, defeated a monster, stole 7 halos, and offered them as a sacrifice to the heavens. I see what Zhang Ik wanted me to see was this. Only now do I fully understand why Zhang Ik named the Heart Tribe territory Cedarwood Grove, Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter. And while I'm staring at Cedarwood Mountain, the mandala depicting the Cedarwood Mountain quietly disappears. Payet. Simultaneously, as the sacred master of cedarwood painting, I am pushed out by an unknown force, returning once more to the summit of glass cedarwood mountain. At the same time, a whisper echoes in my ear. If you want to see it properly, prove it. What must I prove? Somehow I feel like I know. It must be to prove my own martial arts. Clenching my hand tightly, I vow to one day return to the mandala of Cedarwood Mountain. For that is an opportunity to experience the inheritance of one of the few Heart Tribe entities beyond void shattering in this world. As I rise back to the top of Cedarwood painting, I half open my eyes and meet Banta's gaze. Banta stares at me in silence before speaking. Yes, I have lost. Do as you wish. The sacred master of the purple gold realm, the opportunity will come someday. The extraordinary skill I just displayed seems to have greatly surprised Banta. Kuang. He reaches into the void and seems to pull out something before throwing it to me. Take it. For a genius like you, entering nirvana will be immediate. It's a specialty from the purple gold realm that helps with advancing to entering nirvana. It's a dusk talisman, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. I'm sorry for testing you recklessly. Take it as a token of apology. Woven. I catch the golden talisman he throws. This is. I can sense an overwhelming level of degenerate energy. It feels as if an entire black hole of the universe was refined and crammed into the talisman. In a way, it's a talisman-shaped singularity engine. Even for a sacred master, it's an item of considerable difficulty to refine, to give me a such thing. It seems he is truly sincere. I accept the apology. It is I who should be sorry for not being able to attend the invitation. Haha, if you're sorry, then later on, help me catch a fresh sacred vessel with me. Thus, I completely resolve all animosity with Banta, and I am formally recognized as a sacred master by all the sacred masters of the Middle Realms. In that way, I prepare for the impending end with Seo Ran by my side. Simultaneously, as I press Coatrial to uncover his plans and intentions, I begin my sacred vessel stage cultivation. Glass cedarwood mountain of cedarwood painting. After being established in a place commonly referred to as the peaceful cloud realm, named after the continent, Seo Ran created a cave in a spot within the glass cedarwood mountain and began secluded cultivation there. Monster. That is the term used by Coatrial, whom he always believed in and followed as if he was his real father. Seo Ran is confused about everything. That Coatrial is actually countless fragments created by a certain immortal art. The fact that the main body of those fragments is himself, and that the fragments plan to kill Seo Ran's physical body to reset him. To himself he is simply a regular half-human, half-dragon. Older brother, please at least drink some water and absorb spiritual energy. What will you do if you hurt your origin? Shiho approaches Seo Ran. Seo Ran looks at Shiho with vacant eyes. After Seo Yunhyan decided to settle in the peaceful cloud realm, Seo Yunhyan and his comrades all emerged from Seo Yunhyan's heart essence and began living in glass cedarwood mountain. Kim Young-hoon continuously discussed the skill known as martial arts with Seo Yunhyan. And Jeon Myo-hoon got accustomed to handling lightning according to Seo Yunhyan's method, preparing to advance to the star-shattering stage. Kang Min-hee, after a yearn for reunion with the comrades, currently aims to reach the grand perfection star-shattering stage. In a few hundred years, Kang Min-hee's advancement ritual to the sacred vessel stage will likely begin. Oh Hyun-seok temporarily returned to the bright cold realm, and is said to be further learning the bone-armored treasured origin art from one of the integration stage grand cultivators there, Gal Meek. Particularly among them, Kim Yeon is said to be gathering ordinary stars outside cedarwood painting to create something tremendous. Moreover, Seo Yunhyan's loyal subordinate, Hong Fan, has got a sense of entering heavens beyond the path and is growing while spreading Seo Yunhyan's renown throughout cedarwood painting. Currently, the only one sitting doing nothing but staring at a wall is Seo Ran. Even Shiho is helping Hong Fan with his work while managing glass cedarwood mountain, and bit by bit strengthening her cultivation while caring for Seo Ran. However, Seo Ran, after briefly looking at Shiho with a puzzled gaze, turns back to face the wall. Stay outside, I'll handle it myself. Older brother. But Shiho, without listening to Seo Ran's words, stands there for a long time watching him before leaving. Seo Ran lets out a sigh. After realizing from Coatrial that he is the main body of Coatrial, Seo Ran managed to completely uncover the face and name of a certain woman, and his emotions towards her that has been harassing him since Pinglai Island. The woman's name is Oh Hai Seo. For some reason, she currently bothers Seo Ran in his heart even more than when he thinks of Shiho. Seo Ran glances at the place where Shiho left. In the spot where he left is a large scoop of salt water left for Seo Ran to consume. It is a mass of spiritual energy water created by the salt Seo Yunhyan, specially created through using his spiritual power, and a water attribute spell. Starting from the heavenly being stage, one doesn't need to eat food and can live off just the 5 elements. Therefore, consuming sufficiently spiritual energy-enriched 5 elements is more helpful than proper food for maintaining one's origin. Seo Ran uses the splitting void seizing object, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, technique to bring the bowl of salt water closer. In it, Seo Ran's face is clearly reflected. However, Seo Ran contorts his face, grabs the bowl and shouts, Just what am I supposed to be? Just what is my life supposed to be? As Seo Ran yells, The water in the bowl distorts, and his reflection in the water also distorts wildly. The mother, thinking back, it was always like this. On the day Seo Ran received his mother's keepsake, read her diary, and longed for family. Songjin became his family. On the day Seo Ran felt boredom with cultivation and needed stimulation. Figures like Chungmun Ryong and Buk Hyang Hwa appeared, stimulating him as comrades and seniors. On the day Chungmun Ryong, who he considered his senior, went mad, and he decided to go on a life-and-death expedition to save him. Buk Hyang Hwa, Kim Young-hoon, and all the cultivators of the continent stood up to rescue Chungmun Ryong with Seo Ran. The day Seo Ran looked at the salt pillar that was Chungmun Ryong and thought, "It'd be great if we all ascend to the upper realm together and find a way to save him." Buk Hyang Hwa used the Buk Hyang fleet to create a way for Seo Ran, Song Jin, Kim Young-hoon, and the others to ascend to the upper realm. On the day Seo Ran wandered the streets and encountered a demon race woman who, for some reason, was estranged from the world just like him. On the day he saw Yuk Yo and thought, "I want to make her mine." Yuk Yo, with a flimsy excuse about seeking the essence of the sea dragon race or whatever, deceived even herself and embraced Seo Ran. After that, on the day when Yuk Yo said she'd return to her homeland within the dream, gradually fell in love with Baek Rin, and Seo Ran started wishing for their misfortune. They faced misfortune through Yuk Rin. After leaving Pinglai Island and the ancient force realm, wishing ill upon Yuk Yo and Baek Rin due to being unable to control his conflicting emotions, yet resenting Yuk Rin for troubling them. Yuk Rin went mad. It was the same even after that. Seo Ran wanted to be of help to Seo Yunhyan. Thus, after Seo Yunhyan drove the human race into the Heart Tribe territory, Seo Ran wished for them to assimilate well into the Heart Tribe. The human race created something called the Martial Alliance, which Kim Young-hoon had previously made and boasted about to Seo Ran in the Head Realm, thus becoming part of the Heart Tribe. Even after that and after that, Seo Ran kept wishing and wishing. Thankful for the senior who gave him the chance to meet Song Jin and pulled him out of Seo Hwal's conspiracy. He wished for the world to become peaceful someday, as Seo Yunhyan hoped. He never questioned the world flowing as he hoped for. He merely thought it was by chance. Even when he came to somehow hear about tainted soul filling the heavens from Seo Yunhyan, he only thought it was scary, but never really thought beyond that. It was indeed strange. Seo Hwal might be linked to Seo Ran's entire life story. Yet what did Seo Ran believe in to not even think about devising a countermeasure or opposing method for tainted soul filling the heavens? But he finally understands now. I was the main body of grandfather Seo Hwal. That he was the true master of tainted soul filling the heavens. And if he is the master of tainted soul filling the heavens, all the coincidences are explained. Seo Ran plunges his head into the water brought by Shiho, inhaling the water through his nose. At the same time, he thinks, "Who am I really?" He is confused. He had lived his life thinking of himself as Seo Ran. Especially after finding out that his mother, Yuo, loved him, he lived with pride in his name Seo Ran and his half-human, half-dragon form. However, I'm a monster that killed the real Seo Ran and was born. My mother is not Yuo but a heartless monster called Seo Hwal. He cannot accept it at all, because accepting would probably break him. But if he doesn't accept it, that would just be avoidance. Seo Ran knows this too, that it is impossible to deceive himself. Just what should I do? Seo Ran clutches his head and falls into contemplation about his identity. Kugaguguk. By his will, even the entrance of the cave, where Shiho would come and go, temporarily gets blocked. 10 years have passed since Seo Yunhyan became a sacred master. Outside Seo Ran's cave, many things have happened. After becoming the sacred master, Seo Yunhyan reigned as the god of cedarwood painting and publicly hung upside down and punished the old monster with the Ham surname that ruled the peaceful cloud continent to establish himself as the master of the world. And Kurururung, the residence of sacred master Seo Yunhyan. In a corner of glass cedarwood mountain, where only Seo Yunhyan, who is practically the god of cedarwood painting, and his close aides live. From the entrance of a blocked cave, someone emerges. It is Seo Ran. The moment Seo Ran exits the cave, he turns his gaze towards the summit of glass cedarwood mountain. After staring at the summit for a while, Seo Ran nods at some will coming from it. Yes, understood. Pay it. In that instant, Seo Ran quickly shifts through space to the summit of glass cedarwood mountain. He arrives at the throne of sacred master Seo Yunhyan of cedarwood painting. It's been a while, Seo Ran. Yes, thank you for your concern, senior. I heard you did secluded cultivation due to confusion. Has the confusion somewhat subsided? Seo Yunhyan asks cautiously towards Seo Ran. In response, Seo Ran confidently replies, it hasn't improved at all. I still don't know what is what. And yet, that confident attitude must mean you've found some breakthrough to tackle that confusion. That's correct. For now, I am thinking of gathering people or demon beasts to form a group. While managing that group, I plan to further understand tainted soul filling the heavens, which I seem to handle unconsciously. Seo Yunhyan smiles at Seo Ran's words and responds, a good choice. If you completely understand tainted soul filling the heavens and fully control Seo Atrial, the root of most of your troubles will vanish immediately. Yes, please help me establish this group, Sacred Master. By taking care of them, I will look into understanding and being able to utilize tainted soul filling the heavens. This is the path Seo Ran chose. To control tainted soul filling the heavens with his own power. If he has subconsciously been using tainted soul filling the heavens, then perhaps with training, he might be able to use it consciously. Seo Yunhyan smiles faintly and speaks. Once a year, I will call the great master in consciousness methods, Yon, for you. Hong Fan will assist you as well. I will also interrogate Seo Atrial and extract methods from him. Yes, thank you. By the way, what kind of group do you plan to create? A Black Ghost Valley cedarwood painting branch. That. Seo Ran thinks for a moment and then shakes his head. That would be more suitable for esteemed One Kang. Though I am a disciple of the great Black Ghost Valley, I cannot ignore esteemed One Kang's hierarchy on this matter, so I will leave the establishment of the Black Ghost Valley cedarwood painting branch to that person. I will instead reveal myself more as a sea dragon race than as a human, to lead the demon race herd and become their leader. A demon race herd, that fits perfectly. Pardon? Seo Yunhyan smiles and, using the splitting void seizing object technique, floats something over. Wu Weng. Seo Ran looks at the two eggs slowly flying into his arms. This is. In Seo Ran's consciousness domain, the beings within the eggs are captured. They are strange creatures with bodies like snakes and faces of humans. Take care of these children from now on. These children are a race born for the first time in this world, the ancestors of the Candle Dragon race. Seo Ran's eyes widen as he hears about the race emerging for the first time in this world from Seo Yunhyan. After some conversation, Seo Ran eventually cradles the two eggs of the Candle Dragon race and descends from glass cedarwood mountain. He decided to become the parent of the Candle Dragons. 7 years have passed since Seo Ran decided to be the parent of the Candle Dragon race children. Jerurururu. Quirurururu. Cug, you brats, will you not let go? The two monsters with the bodies of snakes and the faces of humans charge at the half-human, half-dragon form Seo Ran and sink their teeth into him. Seo Ran's body is bitten in multiple places, and he hurriedly grabs their torsos. Chiii. Kuug. However, from the sharp pain emanating form between the scales of the two monsters, Seo Ran clenches his eyes closed and endures the agony. Kuug. Yet despite the excruciating pain, Seo Ran finally manages to pry the two monsters off his body and activates a demon ability. Demon ability. Small pot 7 Kai Pearl. Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Innate demon ability passed down through the bloodline of the sea dragon race. The weakened version of the Grand Ocean, 1000 Li Pearl unfolds. A water orb 7 Chi tilde 2, 3M/7, 7 FT in size captures and subdues the two snake-like monsters. But the monsters thrash violently inside the water orb, and Seo Ran forms hand seals to prevent the water orb from collapsing. How much effort did he put in? Pusususu. Something black leaks out of their bodies, and soon the Candle Dragons open their eyes again. Only then does Seo Ran sigh and deactivate the demon ability. Splash. The water orb dissipates, and the two Candle Dragons, who had been inside it until moments ago, crawl tearfully towards Seo Ran. Mister, did we hurt you a lot again? We're so sorry, big sister. We should have controlled ourselves better. Ran strokes the heads of the two candle dragon race children, who are clinging to his body and shedding tears. It's all right, kids. Even if you bite me with those teeth of yours a little, how painful could it possibly be? At most, the injuries you cause at just chi refining third star aren't that frightening. And as I said before, please unify how you address me. Kid us. But you're covered in blood like this, Hyung. Look at your hands, Unnai. They're completely burned. Ran looks at the candle dragon race children, who are addressing him however they please, and rapidly regenerates his body. Chi. Look here, it's already healed. Once you reach the chi building stage, you can recover from most bodily injuries, and as I've told you, please unify how you address me. But still we're sorry, Auntie. But Grandpa Ran, it still hurt, didn't it? Ran silently pats the two children on the head. The candle dragon race has a particular characteristic where they would, at intervals, lose control of their overwhelming ominous nature, Chinese letter, and explode in a fit, losing their reason. Like the cycle of day and night, they would rage with madness for half a day, only to regain their complete clarity of mind and stay calmly by Ran's side for the other half. Whenever they rampage, intense heat, that is, pain itself, would rise between their scales, making it difficult for Ran to subdue them directly each time they lose control. However, after spending several years together, Ran has gradually become accustomed to the behavioral patterns of the candle dragon race, allowing him to subdue their outbursts with minimal damage. Ran hugs the wailing candle dragon children, soothing and lulling them to sleep. Tingle, tingle. Ran raises his throbbing hand. Carefully, so as not to wake the peacefully sleeping children, he dips his tingling hand into a nearby stream. Chi. At that moment, something pitch black leaks out from his hand. It is the curse that the candle dragon race is inherently born with. Drip, drop, drop. Whenever exposed to the heat radiating from the candle dragons, curses and pain naturally seep into one's body. Once the curse's energy is exhausted, shards of glass would form within the victim's body. Crunch, crackle. As Ran expels the glass shards from within his body, he clicks his tongue. What an exceptionally powerful race. They aren't even from a middle realm, yet they're born at the chi refining stage. Even without cultivating demon beast methods, they've already reached chi refining third star. With just their racial traits alone, they're more than capable of dominating an entire world. He briefly looks up towards the top of Glass Cedarwood Mountain. The being that resides at the summit of Glass Cedarwood Mountain, carrying an enormous curse, a being whose very recognition by mere mortals would ignite glass flames, causing glass shards to erupt from their bodies, sacred master of cedarwood painting, Seo Yun Hyan. Through the candle dragon race, Ran came to understand the essence of Seo Yun Hyan. Although you claim to be human all this time, you've actually been concealing your identity as a candle dragon race senior. It's obvious at a glance, no matter how one looks at it, that Seo Yun Hyan is the true progenitor of the candle dragon race. Salag Salalak. Ran scratches the scales of the candle dragon. The scales of the candle dragon race, emitting a crystalline light akin to glass, produce a clear sound each time Ran scratches them. Even in their current, juvenile state, the scales of the candle dragon race already possess hardness equivalent to corundum. If struck with a poorly crafted iron sword, the blade would shatter rather than the scales. In other words, there are barely any cases for the candle dragon race to sustain injuries from other races. Yet it is precisely for this reason that Ran feels even more pity for the two children. Just like some snakes have no immunity to their own venom, these children also have no resistance to the pain they unconsciously emit. They are beings who can inflict pain on others, yet struggle to receive pain themselves. But this world is not a place where one can live without experiencing pain. It is merely hard to receive pain. If they are struck by a sufficiently strong shock, they too feel pain. And because they lack resistance to pain, they probably suffer far more than others when they do experience it. He gently strokes the heads of the candle dragon children, lost in thought. Will these children be able to live well in this world? As he watches the sleeping children, it happens. A Chuang. Someone descends from the sky, clothed in a light pink robe. It is Kim Yeon. With a faint smile, she sits beside Ran and begins operating her consciousness. Her expansive consciousness wave envelops the area. Seo Ran senses the flow of her consciousness and understands her meaning. Yes, for now, there isn't a particular reaction. The thing called tainted soul filling the heavens, for some reason, has no effect on these children. I know because they don't listen to anything I say, though I don't know why. In fact, the more I try to handle it consciously, the more distant it seems to become. No. Kim Yeon nods her head as she listens to Seo Ran's words. After a moment, Kim Yeon stimulates Seo Ran's consciousness domain, making it become clear. Then, using a simplified consciousness method formula derived from the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon's formula, she helps train Seo Ran's consciousness alongside him. Thank you, Miss Kim Yeon. Kim Yeon's actions are intended to prevent the possibility of Seo Ran being contaminated by Seo Hrial's influence or falling victim to Seo Hrial's schemes. It must also be under Senior Seo Yoonhyan's orders. Seo Ran feels that Seo Yoonhyan might be conducting some kind of experiment on him through Kim Yeon. Of course, he doesn't mind. It's all to block Seo Hrial's schemes, after all. After spending some time training Seo Ran's consciousness with him, Kim Yeon smiles faintly and then soars back into the sky. Before long, the sunlight has faded, and the night sky has risen. Previously, the day and night cycles of cedarwood painting were somewhat erratic, but the situation improved significantly as Seo Yoonhyan grasped a sense of the sacred master cultivation. In the sky above cedarwood painting, 14 new artificial stars are shining. Over the past period, Kim Yeon has followed up on the 7 artificial stars created by the Mad Lord, crafting 7 more by grinding down other planets. The artificial stars are interconnected and amplifying energy, and that amplified energy is supplying energy to cedarwood painting. So much is changing. As Seo Ran watches the world transform, and as he watches his children changing, he smiles bitterly. Everything is evolving rapidly around Seo Yoonhyan as the center. And within this time of evolution, transformation and growth, Seo Ran feels only he alone remains in place. Another 8 years pass. Grandmother Seo Ran Tilda. Big bro Seo Ran. The 2 candle dragons, still refusing to heed Seo Ran's words as always, charge towards him on 2 legs. Atcha, you little brats. Seo Ran hugs the 2 children. 15 years since their birth. Perhaps it's because they were directly created by Seo Yoonhyan. It would not be an exaggeration to say that they received the support of the entire cedarwood painting. Thanks to that, they reached the nascent soul stage at the age of 15 and successfully underwent transformation. Seo Ran laughs as he hugs the 2 children. Congratulations on succeeding in your transformation, you little geniuses. He, what genius. The sacred master basically turned every cultivation ground around us into those that are the best even in the middle realms, pulling in spiritual energy. Not advancing would be strange. On top of that, the sacred master twisted the celestial energy every time we cultivated to push us forward. Not advancing would make us idiots. Seo Ran gazes at the candle dragons with a bitter expression. They are lying right now. After entrusting the candle dragon children to Seo Ran, Seo Yoonhyan has provided no support for them whatsoever. All he has done is give them a place to live and purify the heaven and earth spiritual energy so they would not fall ill. Beyond that, truly, nothing else was given. Manipulated celestial energy, Senior did that. Seo Yoonhyan's other comrades, including Kim Yeon, and especially Kang Min-hee, who is the closest to reaching the sacred vessel stage, have all directly confirmed it. Seo Yoonhyan is not yet capable of such miracles. Then why are these 2 candle dragons, who reached the nascent soul stage at the age of 15, praising Seo Yoonhyan and acting modestly in front of Seo Ran? You've used forbidden techniques, Chinese letter, didn't you, you kids? Forbidden techniques that rapidly raise cultivation at the cost of shortening one's designated lifespan. These are techniques the ghosts in Seo Ran's nether crossing ship had once revealed. As Seo Ran found it nearly impossible to control all the ghosts in the nether crossing ship, he hasn't been able to entirely prevent the candle dragon children from learning dangerous secret arts from them. However, even though he realizes that what they used is a forbidden technique, Seo Ran does not scold them. Instead, he simply embraces the children. You kids really don't listen, do you? Seo Ran knows all too well why the children used forbidden techniques to rapidly reach the nascent soul stage. Because of this, he only silently holds them tighter in his arms. 20 years pass. Ran sits quietly in front of a cave, staring into its depths. 35 years. To cultivators, it is a very brief span of time, but to Ran, it has been a long and precious period. And during that time, while staying by their side, the two children, who he now regards as his own, are inside that cave. From within, painful groans echo. Not long after, the groans finally cease. As soon as the groaning stops, Ran rushes into the cave. At the very end of the cave, Ran finds dozens of eggs. In front of those eggs stand the now fully grown two children, hand in hand, facing him. Though they were raised like siblings, they are not biologically related, as each was individually created by Hyun. These children have grown and joined together to bring forth their descendants. You've worked hard. Ran approaches them without a word and holds their hands. Father, mother. Ran's two children still address him differently like always. Though exhausted, they hold his hand with playful voices. Yes. And at least for today, Ran doesn't say, please unify how you address me, but instead simply accepts their words. I'm here. The candle dragon race lays eggs only once in their lifetime. After laying their eggs, they exhaust their vital energy and die. Ran recalls being told this when Hyun first entrusted the children to him. The most defining trait of the candle dragon race is inheritance. Because their parents exhaust all their vital energy and infuse them into the eggs, their offspring are born with slightly longer lifespans, grow tougher scales, and possess stronger divine powers than the previous generation. Perhaps this trait arose because Hyun's flower soul filling the heavens was imbued in their creation. However, the concept that later generations grow stronger and live longer through inheritance means that the first generation is fated to be short-lived and weak. Ran grips his children's hands and sheds tears. The reason his children chose to rapidly reach the nascent soul stage, even at the cost of shortening their lifespans, is because the lifespan allotted to them is only around 60 years. Even after reaching the chi building stage, core formation stage, or the nascent soul stage, the increase in lifespan they gain is so insignificant that it could be considered pitiful, akin to that of a slave race. Rather than crawling around for 60 to 70 years, biting and clawing Ran, they chose to live 30 or 40 years with the clear reasoning afforded by the nascent soul stage, living in human form. Our children will definitely love you as well. Though it was a short life, it was definitely good. Please don't be sad. Now the children are soon going to die. Though Ran could use the nether crossing ship to bind their souls, he decides to send them to the netherworld instead. Holding their hands tightly, he weeps for a long while before giving his children his final words. Thank you for becoming my children, kids. With those words, Ran's first children close their eyes. 1 year later, among the eggs that his children left behind, the first egg hatches. The candle dragon that emerges from the first egg is a baby girl. Ran picks up the child for the first time and bestows a name upon her. Your name is Hai. He gives her his family name as part of her name. Is it because she perhaps likes the name, or perhaps because of some other reason? Hai looks into Ran's eyes and smiles faintly. The second-generation candle dragon race, upon hatching from their eggs, recognized Ran as their parent the moment they first saw him and began following him. Of course, perhaps it's because Ran learned the Taiji quaking lightning body. Even now, he is referred to as both a man and woman. At some point, Ran gave up trying to unify how they address him. It must just be their nature. With a soft sigh, he continues to care for the candle dragon race. Among them, the eldest daughter, Hai, crawls over to Ran and asks, Ran, why is glass cedarwood mountain we live on made of glass? What is that thing floating in the sky? Why does fire emit from between our scales? Why does Ran look different from us? Ran, I'm curious about the number of your teeth. Please open your mouth. Hai has the most curiosity among them. At the same time, she is the smartest among the candle dragon race. When Ran asked them to unify how they address him, she keenly began calling him just Ran. Ran strokes Hai with an affectionate gaze and answers each of her questions one by one. Even when the time comes for the candle dragon race to explode their ominous nature, Seo Hai is the most composed, releasing her ominous nature in the most stable manner. Kuruk, kurururuk, kuruk. As expected, Seo Hai is the most composed. Seo Ran smiles as he watches Seo Hai chew on branches, spit fire to burn them, and grind her teeth. Seo Hai is a child that doesn't particularly harm anyone, simply releasing her ominous nature in her own unique way. Watching her, Seo Ran gave a soft smile. And so time passes again. 55 years have passed since Seo Ran began caring for the second-generation candle dragon race. It has also been exactly 100 years since Seo Yunhyan became a sacred master. All the candle dragon race found compatible partners, mated, and laid hundreds of eggs before dying. Seo Ran looks at the deceased second-generation candle dragon race with a slightly somber expression. However, his expression isn't as gloomy as it was when the first-generation candle dragon race, who were like his first children, had died. It's okay, Seo Ran, you have me. The eldest of the second generation. Seo Hai pats Seo Ran on the shoulder. Even among the candle dragon race, Seo Hai was the first. Without using any forbidden techniques, she independently devised and mastered a demon beast method well suited for the candle dragon race, reaching the core formation stage in just 55 years. At the same time, she developed a way to partially transform her body without reaching the nascent soul stage, succeeding in transforming her upper body into that of a human woman while maintaining her lower body as the snake form typical of the candle dragon race. She uses her arms to console Seo Ran, and Seo Ran wipes away his tears. Thank you, Seo Hai. Is it perhaps because of her genius? Seo Hai neither mated with others of the candle dragon race nor laid eggs. Instead, she sought other values, desiring longevity. She created her own demon beast method and incorporated principles of health preservation techniques into it to significantly extend her lifespan. Now at the core formation stage, her current lifespan is 120 years. It's nothing, Seo Ran, don't worry about it. Seo Hai gently hugs Seo Ran, comforting him. Then Shiho enters and meets Seo Hai's gaze. Shiho, who had been continuously looking after Seo Ran while developing his own demon beast method, flinches slightly upon meeting Seo Hai's gaze. For some reason, she's like a snake. The candle dragon race are warm-blooded creatures. Given that they release intense heat from their bodies, they generate far more warmth than ordinary warm-blooded creatures. However, whenever Shiho meets Seo Hai's gaze, he feels the sharp, icy tension he feels from cold-blooded creatures. Although she appears to comfort Seo Ran on the surface, Shiho feels that Seo Hai's inner thoughts remain something inscrutable. Still, he joins her in comforting Seo Ran. Time continues to flow. Before long, 500 years have passed. During this time, the candle dragon race has gone through countless generations, and their numbers have grown significantly. Now, the candle dragon race left the glass cedarwood mountain, where they first lived, and began settling in the peaceful cloud continent as well. Seo Ran, acting as the godfather of the candle dragon race, taught them demon beast methods and the way of life unique to their race. Meanwhile, Seo Hai, regarded as a great elder of the candle dragon race, continued to preserve her longevity and pass down a secret art that enables even candle dragons at the chi building stage to transform their upper bodies into human forms. Now, if this secret art is passed down for just a few more generations, it will become imprinted in their bloodline, much like the inherent demon abilities of the sea dragon race, enabling later generations to transform purely based on their bloodline. Seo Ran, Tilda, I brought some wine. Let's drink together, Tilda. In a community where the candle dragon race has gathered, Seo Hai approaches Seo Ran, who now holds the title of Valley Lord of Half-Dragon Valley, raising a bottle of wine. By now, Seo Hai has reached the early heavenly being stage. It's all right, Just when Seo Hai pushes the wine bottle in front of Seo Ran. Taku. Shiho, who suddenly appears beside Seo Ran, snatches the wine from Seo Hai, opens the lid, and gulps it all down in one go. HMPH, this isn't even good wine. Were you really trying to make older brother drink this low-quality stuff? Why would I need permission from someone like Mr. And low-quality wine, you say? I saw you smacking your lips after drinking it. Keek, why don't you be honest with yourself? After finishing her words, Seo Hai shoots a sharp glare at Chi-Ho before turning and leaving the Valley Lord Hall of Half-Dragon Valley. With a bitter smile, Seo Ran pats Chi-Ho on the shoulder. Why are you being so cold to Seo Hai? You don't know, older brother. Lately, she's been blatantly ignoring me, and the wine she just tried to make older brother drink. Do you know what it was? I know, it was human wine, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Human wine refers to alcohol brewed using humans. It's a popular product among the demon race or other species that despise humans, and there isn't a world inhabited by intelligent beings where it isn't distributed. No, in fact, even in worlds populated solely by humans, human wine is circulated by devilish cultivators. Seo Ran sighs softly. Having grown up witnessing human ranches and the like operated under Seo Atrial's influence, he doesn't harbor much revulsion towards demon beasts that consume humans. After all, even humans devour one another in this era. Even Seo Yunhaian doesn't personally punish such things. However, Seo Ran understands one thing. Those who devour their own kind or commit excessively cruel deeds cannot ascend. For example, human cultivators who create and consume human pills, or demon beast cultivators who slaughter human villages for purposes beyond mere survival. If they attempt ascension, Seo Yunhaian would summon countless vestiges of the interdimensional void and throw them to those vestiges as food. And even if they don't attempt ascension, for some reason, their surrounding environment gradually becomes full of misfortune, leading them to fall to heart demons or slowly descend into ruin. Although there is no direct evidence, Seo Ran believes that Seo Yunhaian is secretly punishing those who commit excessive evil. Chi-Ho glares in the direction Seo Hai left and says, I don't like that girl, but either way, she's someone that older brother treasures. Make her stop these habits of brewing and consuming human wine as soon as possible. The sacred master will be furious. You drank human wine too. That's because if I didn't drink it all right in front of her, knowing her personality, forget it. Chi-Ho shakes his head back and forth, glaring again towards where Seo Hai exited. Anyway, if that child keeps going like this, she's going to destroy herself. Older brother should try to stop her. I'll talk to her separately later, Seo Ran says with a faint sigh. However, to Chi-Ho, Seo Ran's attitude shows no sign of reprimanding Seo Hai. Just why does he not feel the need to stop someone who's like a child to him from brewing and drinking human wine? He gazes at Seo Ran with a hint of worry. Time continues to flow. Before long, 1,000 years have passed since Seo Yunhaian became the sacred master. Kirururung. Seo Ran watches a woman who has just endured heavenly tribulation before him. With her clothes burned away while enduring the heavenly tribulation, she walks slowly towards Seo Ran with her pure white exposed body and strokes his cheeks. Seo Ran, congratulate me. I've reached the 4-axis stage. This means I'm now at last free of my chronic lifespan problem. Yes, congratulations, Seo Hai. Hung, what a boring reaction. Sarak. The woman, Seo Hai of the Candle Dragon race, snaps her fingers. At her gesture, thick blood energy gathers in the void and forms into her clothing. She dons the garment made of crimson aura and wears a mask resembling black mist over her face. At some point, she began wearing a mask everywhere she went. Seo Ran only looks at that Seo Hai with a puzzled expression. Seo Hai looks back at that Seo Ran and asks, by the way, Seo Ran, since I've reached the 4-axis stage in the lower realm, don't I get a gift? I've already requested the sacred master, so you can build the 5 blessings axes. Hung, not something boring like that. Seo Hai suddenly pushes Seo Ran over. Sarek. Wearing her black mist-like mask that conceals her face, she begins running her hands over Seo Ran's body. Through the Taiji quaking lightning body, Seo Ran has the ability to switch between male and female forms at will. Currently, he is in his male form. Seo Ran, do you not have any thoughts of mating with me? Seo Ran looks at her and speaks. You're a child I raised like my own, Seo Hai. While some demon beasts cultivators do engage in such acts between parent and offspring, our sea dragon race does not. Neither does your candle dragon race. Hee, you say such amusing things. It's not like you're my real parent anyway, right? I'm more than a real parent to you, so don't do this. Besides, your candle dragon race. Yeah, yet tilde I know that laying eggs results in death. Of course, I found a solution to that. And since we're not blood related, it doesn't matter, does it? Ho ho. Mate with me, Seo Ran. Rather than a dog bastard who mates with their actual blood-related children, I'd be a better dual cultivation partner, no. Seo Hai. At her words, Seo Ran pushes her away forcefully and yells angrily. Do not insult Shiho. Kek, did I say something wrong? Foxes are part of the dog family after all. I'm more interested in humans so I don't know the details, but isn't it possible that foxes have similar habits to dogs? That's enough. Just because you've reached the four-axis stage, just because you're that much of a genius, it doesn't mean you have the right to say such things. Shiho is like a parent who raised you all alongside me. Show respect, Seo Hai. How old-fashioned. I heard you were originally a man, but it's obvious you've been brainwashed by that fox. How is it, Seo Ran? How does it feel to learn a gender-switching method and lie beneath a cross-dressing fox demon, moaning? Is that really your preference? Seo Ran's face flushes bright red at her words. However, his expression quickly cools. Leave, Seo Hai. No matter how much you provoke me like that, I will not mate with you. How boring. Find Tilda, do as you like. Spend eternity moaning beneath that cross-dressing male fox, Seo Ran. She spits out her words in annoyance and flies off somewhere. Moments later, Shiho descends beside Seo Ran. Baring his teeth, Shiho glares in the direction Seo Hai has flown off to. Seo Ran, let me kill her. I'll kill her and come back. His eyes are blazed with killing intent. How dare that thing insult you? I can tolerate insults towards myself, but it insulted you too, Seo Ran. I can't tolerate this. That thing's wickedness has gone too far. You saw that blood energy, right? It formed from grinding down and drinking yet another human. If the sacred master will not punish that thing, I will do it myself. Seo Ran, I will. Clench. But Seo Ran grabs Shiho's wrist and shakes his head. Let it go, Shiho. What? The sacred master will handle it, and that child is still in the end, my child. Seeing the look in Seo Ran's eyes, Shiho sighs deeply and calms down. If older brother says so. Seo Ran pats Shiho on the back to comfort him. Seo Hai. At the same time, he looks toward the direction Seo Hai flew off to. Oh hi Seo. Oh hi Seo. Seo Ran recalls the words Seo Yun Haiyan had said to him on the day Seo Hai was born. Seo Ran, that child is Oh hi Seo. Her split soul eroded cedarwood painting. Pardon, what does that? In short, that child is the split soul of Oh hi Seo, who expelled the soul of the child who was supposed to become the real Seo Hai and took her place. Seo Yun Haiyan explained further. Seo Atrial and I are currently engaged in a grand match. I asked Seo Atrial about the whereabouts of Oh hi Seo, but he prepared for even this possibility as well. He said that in the event I grabbed him by the throat, he set it up so Oh hi Seo would escape to a place even he doesn't know. Thus, I too don't know where Oh hi Seo's main body is. Seo Atrial used her authority and the flaw in tainted soul filling the heavens to ensure that even he himself would never be able to locate her. Seo Ran was shocked. The child he vowed to cherish for life turned out to be a monster that had stolen the body of one of his children and taken its place. Whether Oh hi Seo, following Seo Atrial's intentions, succeeds in taking you, his main body from me, is the essence of this grand match between Seo Atrial and I. However, that match has already been half ruined from the start. Someone like Oh hi Seo can no longer challenge me. The moment her split soul entered this world, I distorted it, severing her connection to her main body and erasing her memories. In other words, the one you now call Seo Hai is a candle dragon who possesses the identity of Oh hi Seo but is no longer Oh hi Seo. What will you do? I will leave the choice to you. Will you raise Seo Hai, or will you extract and destroy the split soul? Seo Ran pondered those words for a long time. I will raise her. The monster that stole the body of children akin to his grandchildren. He resents her. But at the same time, Seo Ran sees his own circumstances mirrored in Seo Hai's. As the main body of tainted soul filling the heavens, Seo Ran had grown by consuming the love of Uo, becoming Seo Ran instead of Seo Atrial. Then perhaps if Seo Hai, the fragment of Oh hi Seo, is raised with love, couldn't she too grow to become not the fragment of Oh hi Seo but Seo Hai? That's what Seo Ran thinks. Because deny Seo Hai's existence feels, in a way, like denying his own. Seo Yun Haiyan spoke to him. I will help you. If she commits any evil deeds, I will move the entire world to change her. This is, perhaps, my final chance for Oh hi Seo as well. Seo Yun Haiyan seemed to regard this as his final opportunity for Oh hi Seo, supporting Seo Ran's decision. However, he also asked for secrecy, saying that others might misunderstand if they learned her true identity. And so, things continued until today. Seo Ran embraces Shiho, lost in thought. Now is the time to make a decision. Before she grows even stronger, he must determine how to handle her. Is she right now, Ohai Seo or Seo Hai? At the same time, Seo Ran questions himself. Am I Seo Ran or Seo Atrial? Bright cold realm, Cedarwood Grove. Among the human race residing there, the leaders of their faction, the Grand Cultivator Association, have gathered. The head of the Grand Cultivator Association, Jun Yi, clears his throat. As this is not a regular meeting of the Grand Cultivator Association, I apologize for urgently convening everyone. However, I believe you all understand why I have called this urgent meeting. At his words, all the members of the Grand Cultivator Association nod their heads. Except for one person. The one who does not nod. Han Wan raises his head with a grim expression and speaks. It's so obvious, isn't it, because of that new sacred master that's doing so well? At Han Wan's words, the other members of the Grand Cultivator Association clear their throats and avert their gazes from him. Only Jun Yi and Gal Meek meet Han Wan's gaze and awkwardly open their mouths to speak. Cultivator Han, as you might know, our bright cold realm human race sacred master, Seo Yun Haiyan, he has given us a command. When the news spread that there was someone from the Grand Cultivator Association of the bright cold realm who surpassed the level of esteemed one and reached the realm of sacred master, the Grand Cultivator Association held a great celebration. No, in truth, they had already celebrated greatly after moving to Cedarwood Grove, when Baek Woon officially acknowledged Seo Yun Haiyan as an esteemed one. Although Seo Yun Haiyan became an esteemed one through the Heart Tribe and not the Heaven-Earth tribes, the inherent nature of humans is simple. If someone is on their side, they are a dignified warrior, and if not, they are a vile Heart Tribe spy. The minor mistake of previously dismissing Seo Yun Haiyan as a multi-headed monster was completely forgotten, and they wholeheartedly rejoiced at the birth of an esteemed one. So how did they react when they heard from Baek Woon that Seo Yun Haiyan has become a sacred vessel, sacred master? An enormous festival erupted across the entire human race region. On that joyous day, the human race did not shun the Heart Tribe but celebrated together with them. At the level of an esteemed one, Seo Yun Haiyan might have been considered a venerable senior. But now, as a sacred master of the sacred vessel stage, Seo Yun Haiyan is at the level of being worshipped as a sage god among the humans' race. Throughout the human race residential region in Cedarwood Grove, statues and monuments venerating Seo Yun Haiyan are being erected everywhere. And Seo Yun Haiyan, who is being venerated as a sage god among the human race, issued a command to them a few days ago. Bring Han Wan, the Palace Lord of Pinglai Palace and member of the Grand Cultivator Association, to Cedarwood painting alive at all costs. Ordinarily, a sacred master from another middle realm or stellar system cannot arbitrarily impose their will on a different realm with a sacred master present. However, the fact that Seo Yun Haiyan's will has reverberated across the bright cold realm that Baek Woon governs means it already carries Baek Woon's consent. This in turn means that Baek Woon also agrees with Seo Yun Haiyan's command to bring Han Wan to Cedarwood painting alive. Han Wan glares at the other cultivators of the Grand Cultivator Association with gloomy eyes and speaks. Why can't you speak plainly? Please put on the shackles we've prepared in advance, step quietly into the prison, and kindly become a sacrificial offering for the new sacred master. Just speak comfortably, without wasting any more time. At those words, Jun Yi's face flushes slightly. Why are you saying it like that, Cultivator Han? What we're trying to say is, well, that our human race sacred vessel sacred master wishes to share a brief conversation with you, Cultivator Han. So, we're simply suggesting that you accompany us to Cedarwood painting, which is a lower realm. Although it is a small realm, you could receive the sacred master's teachings, and someone like the sacred master could generate heaven and earth spiritual energy with ease, so cultivation won't be an issue. In fact, couldn't it also benefit you, Cultivator? So, for the journey to the sacred master, we've prepared a specially crafted palanquin for you to ride in, and there's no need to talk around in circles, is there, Cultivator Han? Interrupting Jun Yi's roundabout words meant to avoid offending Han Wan, Gal Meek speaks coldly. In truth, Cultivator Han is correct, Put on the shackles, step into the prison, and head to cedarwood painting. Become the sacrificial offering. It's shameful to admit, but the truth is that our Grand Cultivator Association once briefly opposed Sacred Master Yunhyan. Because of that, we are all trembling in fear. We have no idea when the Sacred Master's wrath might descend upon us. Who could have possibly known that, like the legendary Yang Sujin, they would rise to the sacred vessel stage after a few hundred years? As soon as Galmeek begins to speak, Wai Su and Wai Rionxian clear their throats and chime in. At the time, we acted out of ignorance, but now we constantly live in fear of retaliation. To be honest, once someone reaches the level of esteemed one, unless they belong to the Earth tribe, they feel no particular attachment to their own race. They simply help their own race because they are familiar faces. For beings who have transcended the limits of life forms, our life and death mean nothing. It wouldn't even be strange if they crushed the entire human race like bugs at any moment. On top of that, all of us here have gone against the Sacred Master's will at some point. And, especially you, Cultivator Hun. I've heard that you created an ill connection with Sacred Master Yunhyan even before they reached the nascent soul stage. Jun Yi looks around at the others, then sighs and speaks. Since everyone is pressing the matter, I'll speak plainly. Cultivator Hun. Among all of us, you are the one who has the strongest enmity with that person. Therefore, for the peace of the human race, you must make the sacrifice and go to the Sacred Master. If by chance they are really helping you, it will be great. But if they choose to kill you to resolve their grudge with the human race, then as a member of the Grand Cultivator Association, it is even more appropriate for you to bear that burden. Make the sacrifice for us, Cultivator Hun. Hun 1 remains silent for a while, then begins to slowly speak. I wonder if you all would have spoken like this to me 40,000 years ago. Back in my prime, none of you would have even dared to sit in the same room as me. Hun 1 glares at the Grand Cultivator Association with murderous eyes. Excluding Jun Yi and Galmeek, the other members all lower their gazes to avoid meeting his eyes. Looking at Jun Yi and Galmeek, Hun 1 speaks with a sneer. Galmeek, I hear you became the teacher of one of Sacred Master Yunhyan's acquaintances. Thanks to that, life must be quite good for you. Even if the human race perishes, you seem confident that you alone will survive. Knowing you're safe, you dare talk about sacrifice in front of me. Hun 1's momentum rises. Galmeek, clad in bone armor, channels energy from the bones of demon beasts to resist Hun 1's presence. Hun 1's gaze shifts to Jun Yi. Jun Yi, you're no different. Because of your bloodline from the Elephant Nose heavenly domain, you likely hold a trump card to present to the Sacred Master to ensure you won't die. And yet, you dare to speak to me about sacrifice. Ha, pathetic worms. Gradually, Hun 1's aura grows stronger. Jun Yi glares at him with a hardened expression. If you choose to respond like this, we'll have no choice but to resort to force. Please understand. As Jun Yi begins to rise from his seat, Galmeek, along with Wai Su, Wai Rionxian and the other Grand Cultivators, also begin to rise. And then, just as a clash is about to erupt within the Grand Cultivator Association. Enough. Hun 1 suddenly lets out a deep sigh and releases his aura, lowering his head in his seat. In the end, even Sacred Master Beak Woon must have agreed to send me to cedarwood painting. Do as you please. Even if I were to shake you all off and flee, Sacred Master Beak Woon would simply send esteemed ones after me, or perhaps act personally. That person always seeks harmony with rulers. There's nothing I can do. Jun Yi approaches Hun 1, relaxing his momentum and laughs heartily. Good choice, we will all ensure that Pinglai Palace is well preserved. As for the position of Palace Lord, we'll make sure it is passed on to the descendant you mentioned. Leave the position of Palace Lord vacant. There's a person it's reserved for. It's not my descendant, so don't bother looking. Understood, then. Thus, Hun 1 calmly accepts the shackles handed to him by Jun Yi and the Grand Cultivators. Bound in what the Grand Cultivator Association insists on calling a palanquin, which is nothing more than a prison, Hun 1 is transported to cedarwood painting. When Hun 1 arrives at cedarwood painting, the first thing he sees is a familiar face. Why are you here? I've been chosen as the one to oversee you. From now on, you'll have to follow my orders. You dare? Hun 1 stretches out his hand toward the figure before him, his face filled with rage. But nothing emerges from his hand. The woman before him, as if mocking him, speaks. The Sacred Master has forbidden your cultivation. From the moment you first breathed the air of cedarwood painting, from the moment you first saw its light, you've become unable to escape from the sacred master's grasp. So don't bother resisting for no reason and come with me. Hunwon, here, you are no different from a mere mortal. Hunwon clenches his teeth to the point that blood seeps from his gums. The woman reflected in his eyes. Yonwei, with a mocking expression, gestures casually and effortlessly drags Hunwon outside. Let me meet Sacred Master Yunhyan, Jinwei. That person is too busy to meet with the likes of you. From now on, live obediently as a farmer here. Spend your days reminiscing about your disgraceful time as a grand cultivator. And, without turning back to look at him, she adds, in cedarwood painting, your death has also been forbidden. Even though your cultivation has been sealed, your lifespan remains the same. So, for hundreds of thousands of years, live clinging to the dirt, doing menial tasks. Having finished her words, she flicks her fingers, sending Hunwon flying to some location within the peaceful cloud continent. Wait, Wei. Hunwon tries to say something, but Yonwei does not listen. Moments later, she looks back at the spot where Hunwon had been. Only the palanquin that had carried him remains. It's been a long time since I've heard that, foolish man. With a melancholy voice, she brushes her face with her hand. To remember that nickname and nothing else. Having sent Hunwon away, Yonwei turns and flies into the sky. Before long, 1,200 years have passed since Seo Yunhyan became the sacred master. Above the skies of cedarwood painting, among the 28 artificial stars, countless comrades have gathered at the one representing the ladle Chinese letter star. It seems the human race will prosper. Yonwei observes Seo Yunhyan's comrades from a distance and mutters softly. Kang Minhe, who has reached the grand perfection star-shattering stage, is said to be challenging the sacred vessel advancement ritual today. Indeed, if it's esteemed one Kang, there's a high chance of success in advancing to the sacred vessel stage. Moreover, Great Master Young-hoon is not far from reaching the sacred vessel level as a heart tribe. Yes, on top of that, Jian Myo-hoon will soon challenge the star-shattering stage. He will likely succeed as well. If Sacred Master Yunhyan assists, that will make 4 human race practitioners at the sacred vessel stage. It's a true blessing for the human race. There's also Great Master Kim Yeon. Following a unique cultivation path, she has already become an existence comparable to the star-shattering stage. Soon, she might also reach the sacred vessel level. In the past 1,000 years of peace within the Middle Realms, numerous sacred vessel-level cultivators have emerged. It seems that the human race is now on the verge of seizing dominance over the sun and moon heavenly domain. Yonwei speaks with an oddly dark expression. Yes, everyone will go on to live in this shining world. Senior Yonwei, you speak as though you won't get to see this shining world yourself. Is it because of your lifespan? If it's Sacred Master Yunhyan, surely he could extend your lifespan sufficiently. Well, I'm not sure about that. Yonwei looks up at the sky, her face clouded with complex emotions. Seo Yunhyan is not a human, but a true immortal, or perhaps a monster carrying the will of a true immortal. She knows even thinking such thoughts are dangerous. Sacred masters of the sacred vessel stage sometimes read the thoughts of the living beings in their world. However, she lets go of that worry somewhat. The fact that she has thought this thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of millions of times without incident means her dissatisfaction is being ignored. At any rate, this is what she believes. And most likely, that person is connected to the higher existence who drove Hunwon mad. Having lived 40,000 years as an old monster of the human race, is the one known as Yonwei. She can infer at least that much. There's the phenomena-extinguishing mantra that Seo Yunhyan occasionally uses. There's also the great mountain-splitting emperor technique. That's unknown when he acquired it, and the fact that he wields that technique with even more mastery than Hunwon. This is something she heard from Hunwon himself. Hunwon and his Pinglai Palace are essentially a kind of priestly lineage that serves an ancient entity known as the Mountain God. The Mountain God bestowed the great mountain-splitting emperor technique upon Pinglai Palace and occasionally delivered revelations to guide them. According to Hunwon, while the Mountain God is not a well-known divine spirit like the chief god of the giant race, they are still a rather powerful deity among the divine spirits. And this means that other divine spirits cannot interfere with the priestly lineage that serves the Mountain God. Which means the entity hidden behind the guise of Seo Yunhyan is either the Mountain God or a divine spirit closely related to them. And if that's the case, there is no way this being couldn't heal the mental illness rooted in Hun One's mind. Yet they captured Hun One and left him neglected, allowing only Yon Wei to monitor him occasionally. This means the being using the name Seo Yun Hyan is merely enjoying the suffering of Hun One and Yon Wei as entertainment. In reality, Seo Yun Hyan would be startled when he reads her imagination from time to time, but as far as Yon Wei is concerned, her assumptions fit all too well. And if that assumption is true, Yon Wei sees no point in requesting a lifespan extension from Seo Yun Hyan. What would I even accomplish by living longer? In the end, I'll just be continually toyed with by a true immortal. Even this thought is probably being read. I should just watch Hun One's final moments as much as I can, then, after Yon Jin reaches the 4-axis stage, pass on the 5 blessings axes through a forbidden technique and close my eyes. This is the future Yon Wei currently wishes for the most. For the past 1,000 years, cedarwood painting has also been at peace with no incidents. The candle dragon race under your rule is thriving. There are no disputes among the humans, and devilish cultivators who possess disposition like me are nowhere to be seen. All races are at peace. There's no reason for me to continue living any longer, so you shouldn't worry either. Whatever troubles or concerns you have, they won't seem like a big deal in hindsight. Yon Wei offers advice imbued with her life experience to Seo Ran, who seems to have his own worries. And, listening to her words, Seo Ran has a somewhat ambiguous expression. A time of peace, huh? Sacred Master, you are truly indifferent. Shiho grits his teeth as he glares at the being before him. Blood-red energy sweeps across the battlefield. The corpse mountain and sea river made from humans are being absorbed into a single entity. That entity has the upper body of a human, the lower body of a snake, and their face is obscured by a black mask created by a devilish spell. No matter how much you claim this is for helping Seo Ran, how can you allow such hell to unfold? Though Shiho consumed humans once or twice in his past, he has never engaged in unnecessary massacres in all his years. But the being before him is different. As an ancestor of the candle dragon race, they leaped into the human world under the pretense of protecting their race, committing endless massacres to the point where there seems to be no solution, and incited war and chaos, an inherent great devil. That is the being before him. Seo Hai, stop this at once. Don't you know that if Seo Ran sees what you're doing, it will only make him sad? Ahahaha, Mr. Shiho. Sorry, but to be honest, while I've thought about seducing Seo Ran, I never really cared about winning his heart. I've only thought about mating with him once and being done with it. Whether Seo Ran is saddened or not, if this draws his attention toward me, wouldn't that be even better? You lunatic. Shiho reveals his true form. Shiho's body, now grown large enough to cover a mountain range, glares down at Seo Hai and growls. Do you intend to challenge me? Arrogant thing. You, merely at the grand perfection heavenly being level, act as though you're worth something. Seo Hai, wearing a black mask, looks up at Shiho and cackles. How laughable. Don't bother flaunting your size. After all, in the decaying corpse realm where we live, whether you're at the 4-axis stage or integration stage, you cannot overcome the realm's pressure and unleash power beyond the heavenly being stage. Of course, you might be more adept at celestial energy guidance and attraction force than I am, but that's it. You can't beat me. Arrogant wench, let's see if you can still spout such words after I rip your arms off and devour them. Ho-ho, you just said Seo Ran would be saddened by what I've done, didn't you? Allow me to return the sentiment. You can't kill me, because Seo Ran would be sad, but I can kill you. After all, what I desire doesn't necessarily have to be Seo Ran. You? Shiho growls, drawing forth a pure white aura. His power reverberates across the entire peaceful cloud continent, making the land hum. Seo Hai looks up at that Shiho and smiles. How foolish. If you truly wanted to defeat me, you should have joined forces with Seo Ran, not when Seo Ran and the other strong ones have risen to the 28 constellations. She gazes beyond Shiho, towards the higher sky. Not long ago, Seo Ran had temporarily departed to the distant sky. He mentioned needing to greet Kang Minhee, a venerable senior of his sect. Are you not afraid of the sacred master? You dare harm this many living beings and reveal such rebellion towards me, who is not only the sacred master's comrade, but who also practically raised you. At those words, Seo Hai sneers as she absorbs the blood on the battlefield. Gradually, a crimson whirlwind rises around her body. I certainly do fear a sacred vessel stage sacred master. After all, they are practically a god within their realm. However, that only applies to the mid-sacred vessel stage and higher. A mere early sacred vessel stage is overwhelmed by the flood of information they must process while overseeing their realm and is little more than a non-sentient deity. Shiho glares at her and growls. How do you know such things? Siohai smiles faintly and responds. Memories of my past life, no, the memories of my original self, are returning. Warak. The blood light around Siohai clumps together, and the forms of countless immortal beasts begin to emerge. Arise, myriad spirits, earth immortal apparition. Simultaneously, the forms of numerous immortal beasts begin descending onto the land in their crimson appearances. Now that I've recovered my original memories, a bug like you can no longer stand against me, you mutt. Arrogant thing. In the next moment, two mighty beings of the demon race emanating murderous intent, Siohai and Shiho, clash in a two-sided mountain range of the peaceful cloud continent. Earthquakes and tidal waves sweep across the entire continent as blood light and white radiance clash. Tadat, the two-sided mountain range of the peaceful cloud continent. Yonwei descends upon the area. As esteemed One Kang has begun her sacred vessel advancement ritual, I will now tell you, my life will soon come to an end. Though I could request an extension from the sacred master, know that I have decided to live out my remaining years as dictated by fate. And, since I will soon depart, I ask that you take over my duties. Sioran and Shiho nod, agreeing to her request. My mission from the sacred master is to monitor Hunwon, a former integration stage grand cultivator. As the sacred master deemed this task significant, you must treat it as such. Understood, but where is he? Yonwei gestures to them, descending into the two-sided mountain range and walking towards a certain village. Arriving at a large manor in the village, she forms a hand seal and performs a simple concealment spell. Payet. The three figures vanish from the perception of mortals. Yonwei enters the large manor and points to a man seated on the floor, smoking a pipe with a stiff expression. That is Hunwon. The sacred master sealed his cultivation and consciousness domain, turning him into a mortal. Even suicide has been forbidden, leaving him unable to die. He has since lived for centuries among mortals, engaging in trivial games of accumulating mortal wealth. How unfortunate, he was once a grand cultivator. Unfortunate. When Jian Myohun tried to rip Hunwon apart and kill him, the sacred master and I persuaded him to leave him in this state instead. That man played a significant role in the destruction of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect of the bright cold realm. Do you even know how many times Jian Myohun, after learning the full truth and consumed by guilt, tried to storm Pinglai Palace? Yonwei sighs and points at Hunwon. Stopping him with all my strength if he ever attempts suicide or if someone else tries to kill him is the task I have carried. That is the mission I was assigned. Once I die, it will be your task. Yes, understood, but it seems that man is looking at us. Ran glances at Hunwon, who appears to be staring in their direction. Yonwei shakes her head. You're mistaken. Look at his focus. He's watching the servants behind us as they work. As he's become immortal, he cannot see through our concealment spell. I see. Ran glances at Hunwon, who stares lifelessly into the distance and smiles bitterly for some reason. Elder Yonwei. What is it? I've heard that you were once close with Grand Cultivator Hun in the past. If Grand Cultivator Hunwon were to come to his senses and repent, would you be able to accept him? Are you asking if a person can be fixed? Yonwei smiles bitterly and shakes her head. People cannot be fixed, even if Hunwon were to regain his senses. 40,000 years. It has been 40,000 years of accumulated resentment. Even if a person can be fixed, you cannot fix what they have done. I will not take him back. At those words, Ran lets out a bitter smile. A person cannot be fixed, huh? The two-sided mountain range. No, the place that was once called the two-sided mountain range. Now it has become a flat plain, and there, soaked in blood and licking the blood that stained her body, stands Siohai. She tastes the blood and smiles. You cross-dressing mutt, you've got a knack for running away, don't you? Next time I catch you, I won't let you off so easily. It's at that moment. Siohai flinches and looks up at the sky. From above descends Ran, wearing a bitter smile. Siohai sneers and raises a handful of fur that she ripped during her fight with Shiho. Hello there, Ran. Long time no see. I just finished ripping apart a ton of that cross-dressing fox Shiho's guts. If the curse lodged deep inside him isn't dispelled soon, his nascent soul will rot away and turn into a puddle of blood. You'd better hurry and save him. But Seo Ran, looking calm and strangely sorrowful, only looks down at Seo Hai. It seems I'll have to seal you. It's true that I'm at my weakest right now. She smiles faintly. Round Seo Hai, streams of blood flow towards her and are absorbed into her body. But, Seo Ran, do you think that's a wise decision? No matter how weakened I am from fighting Shiho, someone like you has never been a match for me. Unless you bring monstrous freaks like Kang Min-hee or Seo Yun-hyun or the other heavenly rejected, you won't stand a chance. Crunch crackle. Finally, Seo Hai's mask shatters into pieces. She smiles faintly and reveals her face once more. Her face has subtly changed from the one belonging to the candle dragon race she previously bore. That's right. It is. Oh, Haiseo's face. An innocent, pure, and clear face. Her radiant smile is so beautiful that it could shake the hearts of anyone who sees it, regardless of who they are. Since it wouldn't be fun to capture you here, I'll give you a chance, Seo Ran. Go on, run away and save Shiho. I'll recover my strength and come hunt you down. Hurry, go on. But Seo Ran silently mutters something in the direction Shiho had fled, sending a voice transmission, before assuming a battle stance. The next moment, Seo Ran clashes with Seo Hai, who has regained Oh Haiseo's memories. The battle is decided quickly. Seo Ran is unable to endure the overwhelming power of the countless immortal beasts controlled by Oh Haiseo, and is defeated. Then, drenched in sticky blood, Seo Hai approaches the restrained Seo Ran and licks the blood trickling down his face. The blood of a half-human, half-dragon is quite good, Seo Ran. Now then, it's all over, Seo Atrial. I have succeeded in touching your soul. Hurry and return now to your original form. With a mocking grin, she grips Seo Ran's head. Of course, now that I have your main body, you'll have to receive some brainwashing from the light of the glass peacock. So, you reincarnated here for Seo Atrial's plan, targeting me, Seo Hai. Ho, you could say that. Now sleep peacefully. It's fortunate I didn't have to resort to drastic measures. Well then. Seo Hai. I'm Oh Haiseo, Seo Ran. I loved you. Haha, are you trying to make me laugh until the end? As a parent, I loved you, Seo Hai, and even now I still love you. Elder Yon Wei said that people cannot be fixed, but you were my family, that alone I cannot deny. In the past, even now, and perhaps if I cannot let go even in the future, as your parent, I will love you. Thank you for being my family until now, Seo Hai. Seo Ran smiles faintly, meeting Seo Hai's eyes. Oh Haiseo looks at that Seo Ran with an expression of incomprehension. Payet. Something black bursts out from Oh Haiseo's body and enters Seo Ran's body, while a seven-colored light emanating from her makes his eyes glaze over. But in the next moment, thud, Seo Ran dies. The resurrection of Seo Atrial that she anticipated doesn't happen. What? Why did he die, Seo Atrial, Seo Atrial? She calls out to Seo Atrial in confusion, but the dead Seo Ran gives no response. As if Seo Ran already leapt into the netherworld through the ghost path method he learned. She cannot find a trace of Seo Ran's soul even when she searches for it. As Oh Haiseo's expression becomes increasingly filled with incomprehension, she shakes Seo Ran's corpse. Seo Atrial, say something, Seo Atrial. This is your main body, you know, don't tell me you offered me up as a sacrifice to Seo Yunhyun's jaws. Answer me, Seo Atrial. Yon Wei, stepping out of Hunwon's house, sees Seo Ran suddenly shedding tears. Then all of a sudden, Shiho is startled and turns furious, glaring at Seo Ran who collapsed on the spot. Seo Ran, how could you do something like this without even telling me? I'm sorry, Shiho, I'm sorry. Yon Wei, unable to understand, asks the suddenly crying Seo Ran. Why are you crying all of a sudden? Seo Ran, with a sorrowful expression, answers through his tears. Elder said that people cannot be fixed. It seems you were right. Even until the end I couldn't change her. I guess I just wanted to believe that there was such a possibility. I mean, Elder's words are correct. Even if someone is fixed, the karma of their actions remains. Unless all of that karma can be undone, she will probably always remain as she is. What are you even saying? Just what? I apologize for rambling. I will explain it properly. With a sorrowful expression, Seo Ran thus proceeds to tell Yonwei everything. The constellations created during the star-shattering stage completely assimilate with the cultivator's heart essence when they reach the sacred vessel stage. And to assimilate with the heart essence means, in a way, to make the world one has built until now into one's dream. Amidst the torrent of overwhelming information, I slowly open my eyes. In my eyes, two worlds are reflected. One is the real cedarwood painting that I rule over, enjoying an era of peace. And the other is the one created within my colorless sword enclosure, a dream world. The dream world is filled with a crimson light. In that world, Ohiseo's main body who killed Seo Ran, the one chance to leave the dream world, now roams the desolate land where all living beings have perished, pathetically searching for Seo Atrial. From the moment Ohiseo reincarnated into Seo Hai's body, resolved to kill her first intelligent being, and just before she accomplished that murder, the worlds diverged. My dream and the real cedarwood painting. Everything in the world filled with Seo Hai's unleashed malevolence is, in truth, a fabrication of my imagination. Every character in that world, except for Shiho and Seo Ran, were fundamentally no different from the heart demons within my heart essence. Ohiseo may have thought she cleverly infiltrated under the guise of a fragment, following Seo Atrial's will, scheming her malicious plans, but she has never once escaped my grasp from the beginning. The fact that she came as her main body rather than a fragment was something I discerned from the start, and as soon as she exhibited unusual behavior, I isolated her immediately within my dream. I erased all the living beings within my dream world, condemning her to wander forever through the desolate, blood-soaked wasteland. Her original cultivation realm is the integration stage. The chance given to her is now over. Ohiseo will wander that wasteland for tens of thousands of years, until she ages and dies of old age. Is that all? I ask, turning to Seo Atrial, who is watching Ohiseo's actions alongside me with a hardened expression. Summit of Glass Cedarwood Mountain. Before the Jade throne of glass, surrounded by polar lights and mist, two figures stand facing each other. A man dressed in white, seated as if gazing down upon the world, and a man in blue robes, expressionless, looking up at the one sitting on the throne. 219,523 times. No, it's 24 now. This is the number of methods you've used to try and retrieve Seo Ran from me. Not a single one has succeeded, and even the last resort you sent in, Ohiseo's main body, is now as good as in my grasp. What will you do now? What is left for you? The man in white. Seo Yunhyan speaks, looking down at the expressionless figure before him, Seo Atrial. Seo Atrial speaks with a dry expression. I understand that you care for Seo Ran. I also now know that the threats you used against me before were lies. You cannot kill Seo Ran, isn't that right? That's right. Seo Yunhyan acknowledges it plainly. So what will you do now? He chuckles. I am already a sacred master. In this domain, I am no different from a true immortal. Do you think I will lose Seo Ran to the likes of you? If I exhaust all of me, even you, a sacred master, would not be able to guarantee victory, no. Seeing the great Seo Atrial speaking with such a long tongue, it seems you really have no cards left to play. Keek, go ahead. Consume thousands, hundreds of millions, trillions, tens of quadrillions of Seo Atrials to try and brainwash me along with this entire world. But I'll use the moment you exhaust yourself to contact Blood Yin and expose every last danger you pose. At Seo Yunhyan's words, Seo Atrial lowers his gaze. At your current state, you might be able to impose some restrictions on Blood Yin with the groundwork you've laid. But if you exhaust everything on someone like me, only to face Blood Yin afterward, haha, you'd be blown apart and killed by Blood Yin. No matter how much of a laughingstock he is still a true immortal. This is a testimony from Seo Yunhyan, who has personally faced Blood Yin. While it may be a slight underestimation, it is by no means an exaggerated assessment. Swear your loyalty to me, standing before the black ancient paper, and vow it upon your main body. Then confess your past to me. If you do, I will help you to the extent I can and help you achieve your goal. I will even assist you in washing away your sin. Seo Yunhyan extends his hand towards Seo Atrial. Follow me, Seo Atrial, I truly detest you. You disgust me so much that I want to kill you, but I am still willing to give you a chance. If you follow me, you will eventually be forgiven, and one day you will be able to perfectly achieve your goal. From his perspective, this is an extraordinary concession. Even though Seo Yunhyan has only suffered greatly at Seo Atrial's hands, he can't ignore the wretched sight he had witnessed in his past life, the sight of Seo Atrial being rewritten into a blue earthworm. Moreover, one of the processes for achieving Seo Atrial's goal is brainwashing the head realm, which is tied to the origin of Seo Yunhyan and the other Enders. Through that goal, they might be able to reveal the secrets related to them. Seo Atrial smiles. I will cooperate. You're planning something again. Fine, struggle all you want. The next moment, Seo Atrial fires a beam of dense, blood energy directly towards Seo Yunhyan's chest. Quang! With that as the beginning, the portion of Seo Atrial standing before him explodes. Red beams shoot out from Seo Atrial's entire body, dyeing the surroundings. Snap! However, the moment Seo Yunhyan snaps his fingers, the beams vanish without a trace. Seo Yunhyan's eyes twitch. Tainted soul filling the heavens again. Well, it's adequate as a smokescreen. And are these the Blood Yin realm's devilish spells? Chia. Seo Yunhyan clears away the Blood Yin realm's devilish energy, attempting to corrode his surroundings, then grabs at the void. Clench. In the next moment, fragments of Seo Atrial's tainted soul filling the heavens, hidden in the darkness, are all pulled together by attraction force, gathering before Seo Yunhyan. The fragments reassemble into the form of Seo Atrial. Give up, you can no longer surpass me. Seo Atrial smiles faintly. You know why there's no average when it comes to the strength of those at the sacred vessel stage. It's because we have no true substance. Seo Yunhyan responds casually. We, whose personalities have become immortal arts itself, are now beings that should be called the flow of the universe. Though as far as flows go, we're incredibly fragile. Of course, compared to ordinary living beings, we far exceed even natural disasters, but from a cosmic perspective, we're merely specks of dust ready to be swept away at any moment. Since we lack substance, we must inhabit ourselves to something to cultivate our incorporeal selves. Whether it's the middle realms, the decaying corpse realms, the stellar systems, or even the will of a true immortal, becoming immortal treasures acting on their behalf, it doesn't matter. Only by inhabiting something can we gain substance. As Seo Yunhyan's explanation continues, the laws of cedarwood painting begin to bind Seo Atrial. Because we have no substance, we can connect to anything. We can connect to other sacred vessels, sacred masters, and even entering nirvana true persons. We can connect to esteemed ones or grand cultivators we know, and even brats at the 4-axis stage or below that we're aware of. Even to places and true immortals that we know of. If we connect to a stronger existence, we might be captured and turned into an immortal treasure, but if that's not the case, we can simply borrow their power. That's why, depending on where we inhabit, the knowledge we possess, and the relationships we've built, our combat power varies so greatly that there's no consistent average. Seo Atrial nods at these words. You are outstanding, because we can so easily connect with those we know, we can borrow power anytime, anywhere. This is something that true persons who possess substance cannot achieve. Now then, let me pose a question. If we can connect to others, can we also connect others to each other? What do you think? At this, Seo Yunhyan flinches in surprise and turns his gaze somewhere else. So this is the kind of scheme you have prepared, as expected of Seo Atrial. Seo Yunhyan lets out a small exclamation of admiration as he looks somewhere. That place is within Seo Yunhyan's colorless sword enclosure. A world unfolded with an endless land stained with blood. They're seeing Seo wandering around and doing something. Seo Yunhyan grins. She is communicating with somewhere through her abilities. Now that I think about it, that's how it was. Seo Yunhyan's eyes gleam. Seo at first glance appeared to have arrived at cedarwood painting as a fragment. However, upon closer inspection, she was revealed to be her main body. In that case, how did she manage to deceive Seo Yunhyan at the start? The method isn't particularly difficult. This is because outside cedarwood painting, she connected herself to an existence with a presence far greater than her own. Because there is an existence whose presence is so overwhelmingly vast compared to hers, she was mistaken for a mere fragment. Is she connecting to that being with the enormous presence? Does she perhaps intend to summon an existence of the true, immortal rank? And in the next moment, the entirety of cedarwood painting trembles violently. Seo Yunhyan coughs up heaven and earth spiritual energy. Keyaku. Kuwang. A hazy vapor like something instantly blankets the sky of cedarwood painting. This vapor does not stop at cedarwood painting. It also engulfs Seo Yunhyan's colorless sword enclosure in one go. Gritting her teeth, Oh Seo shouts while staring at the vapor. I, human Oh Seo, humbly call upon the progenitor god, Pangu, Chinese letter. O High Spirit grand down 9 heavens overseeing fate preserving life celestial great emperor, please hear me. As I fulfilled the oath I previously swore, as the master of oaths and contracts, please return my flesh to me. The next moment, Oh Seo's soul is forcibly extracted from the body of the candle dragon race she inhabits in cedarwood painting. Her soul begins rapidly, flying towards some far-off place in the distant reaches of the universe. Witnessing this scene, Seo Yunhyan realizes what Seo Atrial and Oh Seo have done. Did you borrow the power of the owner of names from the very beginning? I see. From the start, Oh Seo's soul was removed from her original body, and that empty shell was filled with the power of the owner of names. While the power of the owner of names occupied her body, Oh Seo acted as Seo Hai, and borrowed the power of oaths to set up the plan to escape through, retrieving her body through a ritual worship whenever needed. Ha ha ha. Seo Yunhyan laughs as if finding it amusing. Indeed, even Seo Yunhyan cannot stop Oh Seo from being drawn away by the power of the owner of names. However, Seo Yunhyan grins while forming a wheel, Chinese letter, behind his head. Kiriwirik. The wheel begins to spin. Impressive, truly worthy of your reputation, Seo Atrial. Then Seo Yunhyan extends his hand. Dujajujajujudo. The colorless sword enclosure, which had been containing Oh Seo until just moments ago, begins to transform. Borrowing the power of cedarwood painting, a portion of the colorless sword enclosure flickers into reality. If only your opponent was not me, Oh Seo would have very well escaped. Oh Seo rapidly flies through the cosmic space, heading towards her main body. Seo Atrial said this. No matter how much of an extraordinary sacred master Seo Yunhyan may be, he cannot completely block the power of the owner of names. Even if you are captured at the final moment, you will still be able to escape. What will you do? She has never trusted Seo Atrial, not even once. She only acted for Seo Atrial when she herself determined that it is logical and reasonable, and when she calculated that there would be no harm to her. This time was no exception. The escape plan Seo Atrial proposed, the circumstances he faced, the reward he promised, and the benefits she stood to gain from taking part, all were too enticing to refuse. Yes, based on Seo Atrial's judgment and Oh Seo's own verification, she should have been safe. But, Oh Seo, I will relay this for the last time. Fragment your soul according to my instructions and scatter it immediately. That is the only hope we have. Don't talk nonsense. You said it would be safe. And if I fragment my soul to the extent you're saying, who would be the main body, my very being will disappear. There's no time, hurry. You said I would be safe, you said. However, as she leaps across hundreds of light years, Oh Seo notices something chasing her soul from behind. What is that? It's an arm. A sword made of glass. A massive arm composed of glass, with countless swords protruding from it, leaps across hundreds of light years to pursue her. Stay away, I said, stay away. Oh Seo's soul turns pale as she summons countless forms of immortal beasts around her. As much as her main body, her consciousness domain, and the level of her soul itself have all risen to a higher realm than before. The forms of immortal beasts she summons also appear far more powerful and imposing than ever. Moreover, since this cosmic space is outside Seo Yunhyan's world, it's a situation where he should not be able to exert absolute power here. OHHYESEO. Huea. Oh Seo screams in terror and sends the forms of immortal beasts towards the arm pursuing her. But it is futile. The forms of immortal beasts are all shredded apart, and the arm rips through the light and projection of the glass peacock before intensely pursuing her. Monster bastard, why are you chasing me? This fucking reptilian bastard wearing a human mask since Earth. When Oh Seo followed Seo Atrial's instruction and possessed the body of Seo Yunhyan's descendant, she was confronted with an utterly terrifying revelation. The descendant of Seo Yunhyan, who had been her companion back on Earth, turned out to be a bizarre and grotesque monster called the Candle Dragon race. Although Seo Yunhyan had shown a somewhat absent-minded appearance back on Earth, She had at least believed him to be of the Homo sapiens species. But for Seo Yunhyan's descendant, to be a monster who's only human in face while everything below is a snake. From a logical standpoint, there is only one conclusion. Seo Yunhyan must have been a reptilian wearing a human mask and acting the entire time since Earth. We were all being deceived by that monster bastard. That guy was a monster from the very beginning, possessing the ability to trace the origins of immortal beast bloodlines. Seo so very easily tracked the origin of the Candle Dragon race. And her ability identified Seo Yunhyan as a being who is fundamentally no different from the Candle Dragon race. Stay away, you monster. The form of the immortal beast, Supreme Tiger, roars and lunges toward the arm. But the arm tears apart the form of the Supreme Tiger in an instant and resumes its pursuit of her. Now the distance between the arm and her is only 10 li. Gradually the arm draws closer. 9 li. At this rate, it's going to follow me all the way to where my main body is. No, Seo Atrial, that useless bastard. He said he wouldn't be able to chase me this far, but he was completely wrong. The form of the immortal beast black dragon charges at the arm. A massive dragon wave, imbued with the power of Taeyan, pushes Seo Yunhyan back. However, 999 ghostly heads seem to sprout from Seo Yunhyan's arm, devouring all the yin energy before resuming its pursuit of Seo. 8 li. Seo feels her legs trembling from the horror. Having the curiosity to uncover everything about the other person, starting from the teeth, is who Seo is. So of course, she is already aware of the shape of Seo Yunhyan and his comrades' skulls. Crazy bastard. Is he using his own 999 skulls as a spell? He's a madman who cut off his own head 999 times to make this happen. Completely insane. 7 li. Once again, Seo Yunhyan's arm draws closer. The searing glass true fire flickers, emitting a powerful attraction force that pulls Seo towards it. No. That glass true fire really hurts. Even the inferior flame of the Candle Dragon race almost killed me when it touched my soul. If this is the real glass true fire, there's no way I can resist it. The heat of the glass true fire already stings her soul, and her mind starts to falter. Endure the heat of the glass true fire with the power of the Candle Dragon race. No way. The master of the Candle Dragon race is that reptilian bastard. I'd be caught right away. In that case, the forms of the immortal beasts Azure Peng and white-winged heavenly Pegasus wrap around Seo. Her speed towards her main body begins to accelerate even further. Seo Yunhyan's arm also appears to be gradually falling behind. But in the next moment, Wei Yang, the three great ultimates rise atop the arm, narrowing the distance with Seo once more. 5 li. Her mind feels like it's about to collapse from terror and the heat of the glass true fire. Seo Atrial, do something. I am also caught. Useless bastard. Cursing Seo Atrial, she frantically hurls the forms of other immortal beasts and self-destructs them. Even though her origin is being damaged, the arm seems utterly unaffected, steadily closing the distance. 3 li. Seo Yunhyan, let's talk for a moment. Actually, I knew all along that you and Kang Minhee were dating, okay? You liked me, didn't you? Isn't that right? 2 li. She tries to tempt Seo Yunhyan with all sorts of sweet words and flattery, but as expected, they don't work in the slightest. The distance continues to close, leaving only 1 li remaining. Seo grits her teeth, her heart sinking as though weeping tears of blood. I have to use that. I followed Seo Atrial's words and took risks all for that, but I'm about to waste it all here. Feeling wronged, she bites her lips tightly in her spirit form. Now Seo Yunhyan's massive arm is only 10 jang away from her. She spreads her arms wide in her spirit form and shouts. I humbly request to the High Spirit Grand Down 9 Heavens overseeing fate preserving life celestial great emperor. I beseech, reveal the power. In the next moment, hazy vapor rises wildly around her. Then a vaporous arm, far larger than Seo Yunhyan's arm, manifests and clenches its fist. Seo Yunhyan's arm seems to flinch. Seo smirks and shouts. Even if it's you, against this being's power. But at that very moment, Pebyung, Seo Yunhyan's arm so very easily pierces through the arm of the owner of names. Plowing through the vapor without resistance, Seo Yunhyan's arm relentlessly advances towards Seo. Seeing this scene, Seo feels her mind freeze completely. It feels as though the afterimage of Seo Yunhyan fleetingly passes before her eyes. Seo Yunhyan was looking down at her with an arrogant gaze. There's no escape. The gap between them has already grown too vast. Not even Seo Atrial is of any help, and no matter how much power she wields or borrows from others, Seo Yunhyan has already surpassed all of it. I can't escape. She grinds her teeth. There is no escape. In that case, there is only one thing she can do. The arm of the owner of names, which is pitifully being torn apart, as if its affinity clashes with the power of the candle dragons. It is being shredded by the hazy mist emanating from Seo Yunhyan's arm, but its sheer mass buys Seo a sliver of time. Seo watches the scene and grits her teeth. Siechuela. In the next moment, she tears apart her spirit form. She must do as Seo Atrial instructed. Split soul. At the very least, she must let her split soul escape. Seo extracts every bit of power from the owner of the name's vapor and the other immortal beasts, stuffing it all into her fragment, and launches the fragment towards her original body. Payet. Perhaps because its mass has been reduced, Seo's fragment moves much faster and lighter, soon disappearing from her sight. Puek. Immediately after, Seo Yunhyan's arm finally tears through the vapor and envelops Seo. With a face really clouded with emotions, Seo opens her mouth. You won, you monster. Clench. Seo Yunhyan's arm seizes the soul of Seo's main body. Every scheme devised by Seo Atrial and Seo has crumbled. Only a portion of her soul that she split and sent away, the soul of Seo Hai, manages to return to her main body, leaving a faint glimmer of hope against the god of cedarwood painting. At the beginning of this life, my goals were simple: advancing in cultivation, protecting my comrades, and surviving the end. However, as I became a sacred master and began reshaping the world, I gained a new perspective and witnessed new sights. In the process, I revised my original goals: escaping from Blood Yin, rescuing Kang Minhee, and neutralizing Seo Atrial. Having achieved all three, the only remaining task is survival in the face of the end. I decided to revise the goal of surviving the end. The sacred masters of the Middle Realms, including Beak Woon, became able to secure the Middle Realms from the end after regaining the symbols. Unlike the previous life, where the esteemed ones and sacred masters had to gather and set up a formation, simply strengthening the absoluteness of the Middle Realms will ensure their survival. However, what about the remaining living beings of the Sun and Moon heavenly domain? What about the residents of my cedarwood painting that lacks the absoluteness of the Middle Realms? What about the people of the Head Realm? What about the people of Peaceful Cloud Star? The people of the Middle Realms may survive, but the rest of the Sun and Moon heavenly domain will perish. That is the end. To them, I want to give them a chance in my own way. And at the same time, I want to save my beloved comrades. That's why I transported Seo into the dream world, and while toying with her, devised a certain plan. When my comrades heard my plan, they were all utterly shocked. And understandably so, as my plan is outrageously unrealistic. In particular, the entering nirvana true person Yo Hwi, whom I had captured previously, laughed so much upon hearing my plan that she practically flipped over. Did she say that no matter how much of an incredible genius I am, such a thing is impossible? So I flipped her over and smacked her. No matter what anyone says, I am determined to make my plan succeed. Since the plan would proceed much more smoothly with Seo Atrial's help, I set aside the memories of what he had done to me and demanded his loyalty, but he seemed unwilling to lower his head to me. With no other choice, I bound Seo Atrial and Seo to my world and began to carry out my plan. Though I lost Seo's split soul before the plan could truly start, it doesn't matter. Ever since I achieved the sacred vessel stage through the three great ultimates, set my location as a sacred master, and broke free from the pressure imposed on me by the owner of the void, regaining my martial arts, Seo Atrial and Seo were no longer my match. If Seo had listened to Seo Atrial from the start and scattered her soul into thousands of fragments, it would have been a bit troublesome. But out of fear of losing her identity, she created only one fragment. One is more than manageable for me, and I attached Seo Rand's split soul onto that body. Ohisio probably thinks the fragment is afflicted by Atrial's tainted soul filling the heavens, but that isn't the case at all. It is merely something I arranged to help Ran achieve enlightenment more easily. Atrial and Ohisio are now completely within my palm. And so, to save my comrades and overcome the end, I devote myself entirely to executing my plan. With an emotionless face, Atrial opens his eyes in the darkness. Inside the heart essence of tainted soul filling the heavens. It is a space of pitch-black sticky malice. A place where only those who are Atrial can enter. In that space, he speaks. Ohisio is beyond recovery. That being has removed tainted soul filling the heavens from her split soul and attached Ran's split soul to it. It's likely meant to help Ran achieve enlightenment so he can control tainted soul filling the heavens. We can no longer oppose that being. Everything we have prepared up until now, all of our grand plans have crumbled. That being surpasses even Mad Lord. Even though the Mad Lord twisted my history by cultivating the power of the bright cold realm, he has never held me in his grasp so completely. In that case, would it not be better to take that being's hand and achieve our goal? At one Atrial's suggestion, the other Atrials sink deep into their own thoughts. That being is suspicious. A being who has reached the sacred vessel stage through the three pathways of heaven, earth, and heart in less than 1,000 years. A being who has already rewritten the legend of the golden divine. It isn't just heaven, earth, and heart as well. That's right. That being possesses immortal arts of unknown origins and connections to great beings. Perhaps that being descended to fulfill the prophecy of a great being, either as an immortal treasure or backed by a true immortal. Not just perhaps, the probability of that is 99 out of 100. Are we to repeat the pain of that time? At the words of one Atrial, the other Atrials fall silent. The phrase, the pain of that time, seems to unsettle many of the Atrials. If only the main body were in its normal state, this decision would have been easier. Everything started to twist since the main body was contaminated by Uo's maternal nature. When will we be able to recover the main body? It has been far too long since the main body was contaminated and forgot the vow of that time. If another 20 or 30,000 years pass, we may collapse entirely. We must quickly recover the main body before that happens. Should we join hands with that being? Should we reveal our goal and seek cooperation? Countless opinions are exchanged among the Atrials. And after endless deliberation, the Atrials manage to reach a conclusion. For now, joining hands with that being must not be done. That being cherishes Ran. Yet in this state, they casually claim they will help us with our goal. For our purpose to be realized, Ran must be annihilated. Only that will bring us closer to our goal. However, that being does not know this and seeks to take us in. Thus, we can neither join hands with nor pledge loyalty to that being. Within the dark space, countless red eyes open. The red eyes gather and form the figure of a man dressed in a dark red robe. In conclusion, I can never join hands with Yunhyan, for what he cherishes and what I seek are in complete opposition. However, opposing him directly is impossible. In the entirety of the sun and moon heavenly domain, the only beings capable of defeating him in direct combat in his main body are Blood Yin and the true immortal of the lightning sacred sea, just two. Thus, I abandon the notion of directly opposing him. The man in the dark red robe wears a faint smile, as though donning a mask. With that seemingly gentle smile, he steps out of the space of darkness while quietly repeating his goal to himself. However, though he is certainly a powerful existence, he is definitely not a true immortal. Therefore, instead of defeating him directly, I will avoid his gaze and kill Ran. The man in the dark red robe. Atrial steps beyond the space of darkness and glances back. The depths of tainted soul filling the heavens. The place shrouded in the deepest darkness. Hidden within its depths, unseen even by Ohisio, are Atrial's childhood memories, which reflect in his eyes. And then, a voice whispers to him from within the darkness. Isn't that just a gamble? Instead, if you corrupt the sacred masters of the middle realms, borrow the absoluteness they command, and anchor your identity there, tainted soul filling the heavens could endure for at least 10 million years, even if the connection with Ran is severed. Why risk such a bold move so hastily? Atrial looks at the entity lurking beyond his childhood memories and speaks. The current Seo Yunhyan is a being I cannot face without taking a gamble. Plan for 10 million years, manipulate history, and only then take Seo Ran to achieve my goal. Do you think a being who reached the three great ultimate sacred vessel stage in just 800 years would wait that long? The being behind Seo Atrial's childhood memories laughs. Kick, kick. Demeanor that suggests it has seen through all of Seo Atrial's inner thoughts. However, Seo Atrial remains entirely unshaken. That existence is not even a leftover, just a configuration. It reacts solely in response to the patterns Seo Atrial exhibits, producing corresponding reaction, a mere computational response. Of course, even the celestial energy calculation device that the Mad Lord attached to the star-shattering stage her is considered primitive compared to it, so it is undoubtedly impressive. But even so, its essence is emptier than Seo Atrial, who possesses tainted soul filling the heavens. There is no need to be shaken by the mocking laughter of that existence. Wrong, the you I know would never gamble. For you, the concept of gambling shouldn't even exist. And yet you speak of taking a gamble. It's such a twisted response. Isn't that so, Seo Atrial? Seo Atrial emotionlessly gazes beyond the darkness. As expected, like the main body Seo Ran, you have been contaminated. That is not so. It is simply that I have matured enough and the time has come to make my own judgments without your measurements. By my own judgment, I am not contaminated. Contamination only occurs in maternal or paternal natures, and having already been contaminated, I have previously transferred every speck of maternal nature remaining in my fragments to Seo Ran. Therefore, this is a rational decision. Seo Atrial, who denies the heart yet knows nothing about it. You remain still a child just as you were back then. Do you know you seem younger than even Seo Ran, the parental heart you speak of? Do you know that love itself is entirely different from what you think? You are failing to understand even a fragment of my words. In my judgment, it is you who has been engulfed by the uncertainty of emotions. I will have to halt your operation. Isn't the reason you insist on gambling because you've already, without even realizing it yourself, been engulfed by that emotionless existence? Foolish. In the next moment, the voice vanishes at Seo Atrial's gesture. Within the depths of his childhood memories, there he puts to sleep the remaining powers of Go Chinese letter, ancient. He turns back again as he steps out of the darkness and thinks to himself. Because there is no need to listen to the irrational voice of ancient force, Chinese letter, he has possessed since birth. Seo Yunhyan is currently scheming something ominous, and the scope of that ominous scheme encompasses the entirety of the sun and moon heavenly domain. Taking advantage of that scheme, I must avoid Seo Yunhyan's gaze and eliminate Seo Ran. Seo Atrial steps out of the dark space and opens his eyes in one of his bodies, which is confined within Seo Yunhyan's cedarwood painting on glass cedarwood mountain. The laws of the cedarwood painting bind Seo Atrial, almost entirely restricting his ability to manipulate his other fragments. As a result, every time he operates tainted soul filling the heavens to transform the world, Seo Yunhyan essentially monitors him. Ohai Seo used Pangu's power. Ultimately, that ancient force was completely nullified by the candle dragon power Seo Yunhyan possess. However, that process allowed me to confirm something. Seo Yunhyan's candle dragon power is a type of ancient force. TL, Pangu is Bango in Korean. Editor, additionally, Pangu is written Chinese letter, which comprises of the characters Chinese letter, meaning disc vessel, same as in sacred vessel Chinese letter, and Chinese letter, the ancient, in ancient force Chinese letter. Interpret this as you will. Ancient force, Chinese letter. According to the information in Seo Atrial's mind, ancient force is essentially unfulfilled dreams. The dreams of true immortals, left unfulfilled as they perished, remaining behind as corpses that took the form of power. Although the true method of using ancient force is known only to genuine immortal beasts, Seo Atrial can at least discern its origin. All ancient force ultimately originates from the head realm. Thus, one could say the king of immortal beasts is essentially chosen as the being best capable of borrowing the power of the head realm. The strength, authority, and dreams of deceased true immortals, that is ancient force. And the being who reached the pinnacle of that power was the previous king of immortal beasts, Pangu. The fact that the power of Pangu was nullified by Seo Yunhyan's candle dragon authority means the candle dragon true blood Seo Yunhyan possesses is even more compatible with the essence of the head realm than Pangu's. In other words, through Seo Yunhyan's candle Dragon True Blood, I can make contact with Seo Ran even more easily than by borrowing Pangu's power. Seo Atrial opens his eyes and kneels toward the upper reaches of glass cedarwood mountain. Because Seo Yunhyan dislikes his face that smiles while going ho-ho, Seo Atrial dons an expressionless mask instead of a smiling one and speaks. I have thought deeply. As a result, I have judged that cooperating with you is the most rational decision. I will join your plan. This is a gamble. Seo Atrial prostrates himself before Seo Yunhyan and declares, "It is impossible for me to share the story of my childhood, even if I wish to. This is a restriction imposed by my main body itself. If you wish to break this restriction, you will have to give me Seo Ran, but you wouldn't want that. In that case, there is only one option. You must rise to true immortality and use the authority of an immortal beast, as well as the terrifying authority of your canvas of myriad forms and connections, to shatter my tainted soul, filling the heavens, and forcibly red my past. Entrust everything to Seo Yunhyan, cooperate with him fully, and, through whatever means, gain access to the Candle Dragon authority he possesses. Then, the moment he shows an opening through the Candle Dragon authority, an ancient force compatible with the essence of the head realm, contact Seo Ran and erase him. To prevent Seo Yunhyan from reading his true thoughts, Seo Atrial fills his surface thoughts with distractions, such as the recipe for flame-grilled sea cucumbers from the purple gold realm, while solidifying his plan. I will do my utmost to assist the sacred master in rising to true immortality. I swear upon my childhood, before the name of the High Spirit Grand Tao Nine Heavens overseeing fate preserving life celestial great emperor. The key to this gamble lies in whether I can prevent being swallowed by that monster Seo Yunhyan's terrifying immortal art called Canvas of Myriad Forms and Connections, and erase Seo Ran's essence through the Candle Dragon authority. It's a gamble, but only by doing this can I even attempt to resist that being. Seo Atrial fully lowers his head before Seo Yunhyan, presenting his gamble. There is only one chance. He must find an opening to exploit. Seo Yunhyan, watching Seo Atrial swear loyalty before the owner of names, summons him closer and blesses him with a smile. Shring Shriring. Kim Young-hoon is drenched in cold sweat in Cedarwood Grove of the bright cold realm. Then suddenly, Payet, in the plane of soul overlapped with the bright cold realm, a massive sphere of light resembling the sun appears. Halite. Tukwang. Kim Young-hoon's saber, which clearly carries no chi, cleaves through an entire mountain within Cedarwood Grove. Atehata. Watching this scene, Kim Young-hoon laughs. And standing beside him, Jang Ik grins. Now you're become somewhat useful. Haha, now you say. I've reached this stage several times faster than you did, Senior Jang. Aren't you afraid that I'll surpass you? Halata. Jang Ik lets out a hearty laugh, as if hearing a funny joke. How could you surpass me, right now? In this very moment, I'm stronger than you, so what if you surpass me in the next second? At this very moment I can sever your neck. Then the greetings between heart tribes begin. Quang. Jang Ik charges toward Kim Young-hoon. 4 treasures, annihilating heaven's blade. Executing immortals, annihilating heavens. A sharp slash strikes in an instant, flying straight towards Kim Young-hoon's face. Kim Young-hoon bends his body so low it looks as if he's bowing, then forcefully shakes off the attack. Buong. A golden saber deflects a green podow. Surpassing radiant Genesis form. Third style. Golden blade Jade resonance. Letter F90A Chinese letter Chinese letter Chinese letter. The golden blade, letter F90A, shakes off the Jade resonance Chinese letter Chinese letter. Like Seo Yunhyan severing mountain swordsmanship, Mountain Echo's Valley responds. That shakes off a sword cry. Kim Young-hoon's saber vibrates wildly and the resonance ripples, seeping into Jang Ik's body. Clicking his tongue, Jang Ik immediately dashes forward and strikes into Kim Young-hoon's chest. Kehyak. Kim Young-hoon vomits blood, then scans his surroundings. This is insane. He finds himself knocked from the stable realm region all the way into the skies, above the chaos realm regions. Even though his protective body force was in place, his entire body is shattered. His limbs are torn off, and his internal organs are crushed into pulp. Even at this moment, he's hurtling through the atmosphere of the bright cold realm like a meteor, burning up from the frictional heat. All this from allowing just one hit from Jang Ik. Buong. Jang Ik leaps through space and reappears above Kim Young-hoon. If I take one more hit, I'll die. Kim Young-hoon quickly creates a martial art. Yang Birth 9 Revolutions Technique. Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. In a fleeting instant, countless golden threads gush out from Kim Young-hoon's body, crawling along his body. They reconnect his crushed blood vessels, bones, and nerves everywhere. His internal organs are restored. His dismembered limbs are regenerated. Kim Young-hoon's body is dyed in golden light. The golden internal energy rotates within his body 9 times, granting him regeneration equivalent to an integration stage cultivator. 4 treasures annihilating heaven's blade. Slaughtering immortals annihilating heavens. Letter F92, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. At the same time, Jang Ik overlays his legs with 4 treasures annihilating heaven's blade and slams them down towards Kim Young-hoon. In that instant, Kim Young-hoon quickly moves his body, gripping the surpassing radiant saber and readying himself to counter. Surpassing radiant Genesis form. Golden wing defiles the light. The silhouette of a golden winged ping seems to flash before clashing with Jang Ik's strike. Yurarung. In the next moment, from the sky to one of the wastelands in the stable realm, Kim Young-hoon is driven deep into the earth, all the way underground. Kuag. Dujijudo. Jang Ik's immense will presses down on Kim Young-hoon. The willpower imbued in the 4 treasures annihilating heaven's blade continues to push Kim Young-hoon further underground. Facing him with just strength is impossible. Feeling his entire body being torn apart by the energy of slaughtering immortals annihilating heavens, Kim Young-hoon grits his teeth. I can't allow the attack itself. Otherwise, I'll lose without question. Without letting Jang Ik see me, I have to cut him down with countless strikes. Buung. Then, as Kim Young-hoon steals his resolve, Jang Ik charges forward once again, unleashing his most powerful ultimate technique. 4 treasures annihilating heaven's blade. Collapsing immortals annihilating heavens. The dimension itself collapses. Interdimensional void. Outside the bright cold realm. Quaying. A powerful tremor echoes out, and the dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm shatters completely. From within appears Kim Young-hoon, his entire body covered in burns and rapidly regenerating, and Jang Ik, grinning wickedly and laughing with excitement. Kim Young-hoon begins to move. Buung. Surpassing radiant Genesis form. 4th style. Golden radiance flint to flash. Letter F90A Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Created martial art. 100 severings. Kim Young-hoon's body transforms into golden light. For an instant, he transcends the light. Jang Ik raises his pado to counter, but before he realizes it, his entire body has already been slashed apart by 100 strikes. Chwadudwak. Blood sprays from Jang Ik's body like a fountain. But in the next moment, Jang Ik grins. Passable. Kim Young-hoon quickly tries to react, but a technique he has never seen before erupts from Jang Ik's body. Created martial art. Blazing radiant slaughtering soul. Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter. In a flash, Jang Ik moves like a streak of light, matching Kim Young-hoon's speed, and extends a single saber strike towards him. 4 treasures annihilating heaven's blade. Severing immortals annihilating heavens. Shugag. Payet. Kim Young-hoon stares at Jang Ik with a chill running down his spine, then looks at his own severed strands of hair. Though he barely avoided the strike, the feeling that if it had landed directly, he wouldn't have even had the chance to regenerate his body is overwhelming. He looks at Jang Ik's small body, which had been definitely slashed over 100 times. It's stitched back together. Just like Kim Young-hoon's body, Jang Ik also created a martial art on the spot, manipulating the energy within his body with a suitable technique to stitch himself together. However, unlike Kim Young-hoon, his regeneration is far from perfect. Traces of the slashes still remain on Jang Ik's body. It is a crude martial art. Its level of completion is not particularly high. Yet, Kim Young-hoon realizes something. How senior Jang Ik, how could you have that talent? I accumulated it over time. You, on the other hand, seem to have somehow been born with it. But once you reach this stage, it's inevitable to accumulate a talent of this level. Even Seo Yoon Hyun, from what I've seen, seems to have accumulated this sense. Jang Ik smirks, floating 4 pados around his body. I believe in what I've accumulated. Am I afraid that you'll grow and surpass me? Hoo-hoo. That's a good provocation, but it won't work on me. What I've accumulated has already touched upon the ultimate realm. Come, do you have the resolve to stand against me as I am? Kim Young-hoon stares at Jang Ik for a long moment, then breaks into a grin. Very well, then please show me, senior, this ultimate realm you claim to have touched upon. This isn't something to show to you, as there's already someone else to whom I wish to unfold it. Then I'll make you unfold it. Once again, the two-heart tribe clash. The entirety of the dimension beyond the bright cold realm becomes their battlefield, as gold and green collide against each other. In terms of weight class, Jang Ik has the upper hand. His fighting spirit itself embodies overwhelming and domineering strength. In terms of speed, Kim Young-hoon is ahead. Naturally so, as his surpassing radiant saber is a martial art specialized in speed. The space beyond the bright cold realm resounds noisily. The dimensional barrier explodes in various places. Sacred Master Beak Woon's furious roar reverberates from within, and thousands of vestiges of the interdimensional void are obliterated. Then, when their clash reaches its peak, collapsing immortals annihilating heavens in golden wing defiles the light collide. Kim Young-hoon sees it. The ultimate realm that Jang Ik has reached. The despair of that realm, known as the third step before the throne. Jang Ik in turn also sees it. The overwhelming genius of Kim Young-hoon, and a hope that he might one day reach the third step before the throne. Confronting this new precipice, Kim Young-hoon bares his teeth in a grin. Confronting this new light, Jang Ik also bares his teeth and laughs. In the next moment, their clash shatters the dimensional barrier of the bright cold realm. Kim Young-hoon and Jang Ik stand facing each other, steam rising from their entire bodies. Having returned full circle to Cedar Wood Grove, the two look at each other and burst into laughter. If you had used that, I would likely have died. Why didn't you use it? I told you already, it's not something to show to you. Yuhaha, well, for now I'll have to be satisfied with just catching a faint glimpse of the true nature of that. You shameless brat, do you think you can reach the realm I've devoted my entire life to attaining so quickly? I will probably need 1,000 years. Definitely a shameless brat. Jang Ik grins and sits down casually. However, his expression is brighter than ever. What is the void you've attained? At Jang Ik's sudden question, Kim Young-hoon also slumps to the ground and answers. The void of the moment. Kim Young-hoon could not bring himself to sever his connection to reach void shattering. Seo Yoon-hyan embraced his connections and attained impermanence, but that is Seo Yoon-hyan's enlightenment. It is not something he can obtain for himself. Thus he found his own path. In the moment I face martial arts, for that moment I chose to forget everything and embody the void. He cannot forget his family. However, in those moments when his heart awakens to the desire to return to them, in that moment of resolve, he can focus entirely on that purpose and let go. To forget something once and assume it is forgotten forever was my own misconception. A person's life is made up of moments, and in those countless moments, there are times when we forget something, times when we immerse ourselves and forget, and times when we remember. Thus, among the countless moments, I decided to attain the void of the moments I need most. Seo Yoon-hyan seems to have gathered. You, on the other hand, have disassembled. It's an interesting choice. Jang Ik laughs heartily at Kim Young-hoon's words. At last, you have cast aside all hesitation and found the proper answer. Congratulations. At Jang Ik's acknowledgement, Kim Young-hoon smiles in satisfaction. You've reached the peak of the second step before the throne. This is 1,000 years since Seo Yoon-hyan became a sacred master. Kurung. In a certain part of the universe, an enormous celestial phenomenon is unfolding there. A cultivator at the grand perfection integration stage appears to be condensing their integrated Tao domain. And at a certain moment, quieting their integrated Tao domain, the great heavenly rain of the charged lightning veil bursts forth entirely. Guaija, the cultivator who detonated their integrated Tao domain, Jian Myung-hoon, grits his teeth as if overwhelmed by unbearable pain and seems to be contemplating on something. That something is, amidst the explosion of his integrated Tao domain, untouched by the blast due to prearranged arrangements, a hand. That shriveled, scorched hand. Centered around that hand, Jian Myohoon's consciousness begins to coalesce. Sohei. Around the hand of Jin Sohei, scenes start to unfold. The scenes depict the moment Jin Sohei perished, her entire body obliterated by lightning, leaving only her hand behind. The day the entirety of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was utterly annihilated by lightning under the eye that appeared in the sky. Sohei. Centered on the pain and fury of that day, Jian Myohoon regains his awareness. Quarang Quaravirang. Inside the nebula created by Jian Myohoon's explosion, due to the prelude phenomenon of the star tribulation, preludes of heavenly tribulations appear. Regaining his senses, Jian Myohoon seizes control of the prelude heavenly tribulations, using Jin Sohei's hand as his anchor. Quadjijik. The prelude heavenly tribulations are infused with the power of the immortal art, various omens. Simultaneously, Jian Myohoon's physical body begins to condense. Sohei. Kururururung. Finally, Jian Myohoon succeeds in condensing the physical body of a star, shattering a steamed one. And immediately after, flash, a vast beam of light descends from the universe. The heavenly tribulation that falls upon an esteemed one. It is the star tribulation. And towards that star tribulation, someone present at the scene leaps forward. It is Hong Fan. Entering heavens beyond the path, void sword. Parrot. Guided by Seo Yoon Hyun and Kim Young Hoon, Hong Fan, who has once again reached entering heavens beyond the path in this life, charges towards the star tribulation without hesitation. Scattering Jian Myohoon's prepared blood, he resounds in mental speech. On the last day of the last month, where no light reaches, the tribulation Chinese letter shall arise. Tribulation, come hither, so that all may partake in the feast before the light enters. The ritual prepared with Jian Myohoon's blood scatters, and Hong Fan's void sword touches the star tribulation. Immediately after, Hong Fan's entire body is nearly reduced to ashes, and he is blasted away. Quaying. As Hong Fan is flung away, the star tribulation fuses with all the star tribulations that are supposed to come after and converges upon Jian Myohoon. Jian Myohoon faces the star tribulation. Flash. The expected sound of when heavenly tribulation collides does not occur. Though space lacks a medium for sound to travel, the corresponding spiritual wave should reverberate. Yet even such waves of spiritual energy fail to ripple. The star tribulation is merely absorbed and devoured by Jian Myohoon's great heavenly rain of charged lightning veil great star. Kurururung. Above Jian Myohoon's main body, heaven and earth spiritual energy condenses, forming a projection. It's a phenomenon that naturally occurs as Jian Myohoon's authority surges powerfully, manifesting his combat technique form. The main body of Jian Myohoon, the two-headed six-armed lightning god, begins to transform. Quadjijijik. As lightning condenses around Jian Myohoon's two heads and six arms, another head emerges. The complete form of a three-headed six-armed lightning god. But it doesn't stop there. On the six arms of the three-headed six-armed lightning god, despite not being a practitioner of heaven and earth dual cultivation, a winged garment of thunder and lightning forms. Uvu. Quaravirurung. As the three-headed six-armed lightning god roars, the entire heaven and earth begins surging with lightning force. Quadjijijik. The lightning god with three heads and six arms extends all six of its hands, concentrating the energy of the star tribulation. Then in the center of the six hands, a certain form begins to coalesce. Rain Chinese letter. It is a sphere of lightning inscribed with the character Rain Chinese letter. Subsequently, other spheres begin to materialize in the lightning god's hands one by one. Clearing Chinese letter, cloudiness Chinese letter, one of connection Chinese letter, crossing Chinese letter. Inner diagram Chinese letter, and outer diagram Chinese letter. Holding these six symbols in his six hands, excluding the symbol Rain Chinese letter in the center, Jian Myohoon opens wide all of the eyes of the three-headed six-armed lightning god, releasing a massive roar. Hairang. Quaravirurung. With that final act, the star tribulation is completely absorbed into Jian Myohoon's body. Half closing his eyes, he finally draws his origin star into the projection. At last I've made it this far. He has finally become a star-shattering stage esteemed one. He gazes at the symbols held in his hands. These are Dharma treasures forged from the power of the recent star tribulation. With these, it is certain that he will be able to easily create the remaining 6 origin stars. Perhaps within 1,000 years, I should reach the grand perfection star, shattering stage and aim for advancement to the sacred vessel stage. This is the heavenly, golden thunder body. Reigning as the master of all thunder and lightning, impervious to heavenly tribulations, and even using them as a spiritual elixir to advance cultivation. Perhaps my ender, Yang Sujin, who is presumed to have the same ability as I do, also utilized these traits to their fullest, allowing him to reach the pinnacle of true immortality within 3,000 years. Jian Myohun muses this as he approaches the figure who was observing his advancement ritual nearby. Ancestor, I have finally succeeded in becoming an esteemed one. The one who was watching over him. Yon Wei, with an expression of letting go a big burden from her heart, kneels before Jian Myohun. Please, do not speak to me with such formality, O esteemed one. You are now the greatest pillar of our golden divine heavenly thunder sect. This humble one merely took on the role of ancestor due to being born a little earlier than esteemed one. I am but a small and insignificant being, utterly unable to match the achievements of the esteemed one. Jian Myohun looks at that Yon Wei with a complicated expression. However, he soon shakes his head and, as if accepting his position, speaks. Understood, Yon Wei. From this day forward, this esteemed one declares himself as the supreme of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect. Within the sect's hierarchy, unless the founder returns, no one may surpass this esteemed one. From henceforth, the great golden divine heavenly thunder sect shall once again enter its golden age. Yon Wei, with an expression far more natural and relaxed than the one she had shown to Seo Yunhyan in the past, presses her lips to the top of Jian Myohun's foot. Glory to the golden divine heavenly thunder sect. As if her worries about the sect's future are now largely cast aside, her face becomes greatly relaxed. This is 1,300 years since Seo Yunhyan became a sacred master. Thus, Jian Myohun became an esteemed one. Whisper, 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 whisper. Countless whispers echo in her ears. Kang Minhee slowly opens her eyes. She, flying upside down in the sky, escapes from the whispers and looks ahead. Before her, countless blue souls ripple and sway. On the day she regained her sanity thanks to Seo Yunhyan and came to fully understand her own fate, Chinese letter. Since that day, the ghosts that followed her have all transformed into these blue spirits. Thank you, everyone. I've finally regained all of my memories. She had lost her memories during the sacred vessel advancement ritual and became an immortal art. As an immortal art, she originally existed without any memories, but during the advancement ritual, she was able to recover her memories thanks to the blue spirits that came to follow her. These ghosts, having let go of all their grudges from life, now serve Kang Minhee with complete loyalty. Of course, once their grudges are resolved, it would be normal for them to be pulled into the netherworld. However, for some reason, the blue spirits do not leave Kang Minhee's side. It is as if, by staying near her, they are unaffected by the attraction force of the netherworld. She begins to grasp a certain understanding of her true ability. I'll probably only fully understand once I reach the level of true immortality, but my true ability is likely the creation of bridles. Though the word bridles evokes a sense of resistance, the true nature of her ability is essentially creation of laws. Creating a desired law to bind opponents, or to protect those she wishes to protect. A power particularly specialized in protection, that is the true essence of her ability. If I discuss this with my comrades and deliberate on how to utilize this ability, I'll probably be able to develop it further, but regrettably, Seo Yunhyan had repeatedly warned her that such a thing must never happen. Thus, Kang Minhee has kept silent about her true ability to this day. In any case, the reason these blue spirits remain by her side, instead of falling into the netherworld, is because she created a law. By declaring herself as a part of the netherworld, and establishing herself as a sanctuary where spirits could linger before being judged, she enabled the spirits to stay by her side and remain loyal to her. This ability is still unstable. That is the truth. The law Kang Minhee created stems from the deepest parts of her heart. It emerged from the realm of her unconsciousness and is not something she had intentionally created. If I rise to true immortality, will I be able to properly wield this ability? There are things she wants to do with this power. There are things she wants to see. But as she has yet to reach a level where she can freely create laws, she lets out a small sigh. Let's grow stronger. Now that she has recovered her memories, the advancement ritual to the sacred vessel stage becomes easy. In order to advance to sacred vessel, advance to entering nirvana, and advance to true immortality to fully unleash her ability, she begins to move forward. Woven. Countless spirits follow her, who is upside down. Kang Min-hee strolls through peaceful Cloud Star, the location chosen for her sacred vessel advancement ritual. The scattered fragments of Kang Min-hee begin to be absorbed into her, centering on her identity as an immortal art. At first, as she prepared for the sacred vessel advancement ritual, she felt resistance, replacing herself with immortal arts. It was such a terrifying and aversive concept. In general, beings at the integration stage and above perceive immortal arts as an art that moves through attraction force. The basic immortal art of the integration stage, various omens, and the basic immortal art of the star-shattering stage, examination of doubts. All of them are activated through attraction force. Thus, becoming a sacred vessel felt unsettling, as though replacing oneself with the flow of attraction force. But Seo Yunhyan explained it to her, that immortal arts in truth are the power of the heart, that they are an authority that is activated through one's heart. Now I'm not afraid. Because of that, she can step forward without hesitation. Immortal arts is a branch of the heart. To say that one replaces oneself with immortal arts is nothing extraordinary. It merely means restructuring oneself around a portion of one's heart, the part of the heart one pursues the most. In other words, it is one's character. A sage once said, if one aligns their heart with goodness, later, even when acting on instinct, they will behave with goodness. If a swordsman develops and maintains a habit of honing their sword, in due time, their instinctive actions will involve honing the sword. This is what it means when immortal art is said to replace one's persona. Perhaps being human is not solely determined by one's physical body, brain, or even spiritual form. Becoming completed by what one does and what one desires to become. That is what it means to be a person. And replacing one's persona with immortal art signifies completing oneself based on one's desires. Immortal cultivation is not simply about growing stronger, living longer, acquiring superior dharma treasures, or consuming better pills. It is about completing oneself. It is about finding one's own path and advancing forward. That is what immortal cultivation is, Kang Min-hee. So, there's no need to be afraid, we'll cheer you on. Those are the words Seo Yunhyan had told her before she began her sacred vessel advancement. Payet. The fragments Kang Min-hee scattered begin to coalesce around the heart she desires. Centered on the immortal art she has chosen, the flawless mantra, they start to gather. Immortal cultivation is, ultimately, a bridle. A bridle is something placed upon slaves or livestock. Kang Min-hee obtained this mantra in the past from the deep and dark being. And as she proceeds with her sacred vessel advancement ritual, she feels as though she understands the heart of the one who created this mantra. Unending distress. It is this distress that created this immortal art. However, Kang Min-hee adds her own interpretation to this distress. Immortal cultivation is ultimately a bridle, but at last she completes a full circle around peaceful Cloud Star. It is also something meant to protect. The being who created the mantra undoubtedly sought to reveal their own servitude through it, and at the same time, to make those who learned the mantra serve them like slaves. However, for some reason, she perceives within the meaning of that action a will to protect. Attraction force is a chain, and fate is a bar. Thus, until one becomes flawless, remain within this place. I shall protect you. Payet. She, who completed a full circle around the planet, absorbs the final fragment. Payet. Countless blue spirits leap with joy, and Kang Min-hee's body begins to grow enormously. Payet. Transformed into a brilliant blue spirit form, she dons a navy blue robe, and with her body now vast enough to encompass the planet's continent, she kneels down on the spot. Most of the humans of the peaceful Cloud Star cannot see her, who exists only within the plane of soul. However, a grand perfection heavenly being cultivator half a step into the four-axis stage, UHWI, breathes heavily and gazes at Kang Min-hee as if his eyes might burst while gaining knowledge. Kang Min-hee in this state gazes into the distant universe. She sees Kim Young-hoon, who perfected his martial arts. She also sees Jeon Myung-hoon, who has advanced to esteemed one, and Kim Yeon, who possesses the power of an esteemed one, all protecting her as she undergoes the sacred vessel advancement. Kang Min-hee, looking at the comrades, speaks softly. I will protect you all, from now on as well. Kim Yeon smiles warmly, and Jeon Myung-hoon nods as he strokes Sohei's hand. Kim Young-hoon laughs heartily and jokes, saying, Hey, what do you mean by you all? Kang Min-hee's gaze moves beyond Kim Young-hoon, Kim Yeon, and Jeon Myung-hoon, all the way to the distant cedarwood painting, meeting the eyes of Seo Yoon-hyun, who is watching over her. Kang Min-hee and Seo Yoon-hyun exchange glances and share a gentle smile. 1,900 years since Seo Yoon-hyun became a sacred master. Kang Min-hee fully completes her sacred vessel advancement. Wo-woong. Suddenly, a door opens in the void and someone emerges. It is Yu-oh, the sacred master of the nether ghost realm. Kang Min-hee lowers her head and bows to her. Disciple of the Black Ghost Valley greets the Palace Lord. I am not the Palace Lord of Black Ghost Valley. To begin with, Black Ghost Valley operates under a collective leadership, governed by a council of grand elders, so a Palace Lord cannot exist. Pardon, but Seo Yoon-hyun clearly told me so. Kang Min-hee looks confused, and Yu-oh also scratches her cheek in bewilderment. Now that I think about it, Sacred Master Yoon-hyun did say some strange things to me last time as well. Something about the back of my head. It's true I once cultivated the ghost path method of 2 faces, but I achieved great completion in it over 1,000,000 years ago, so my faces have long since merged. Truly strange words. Shaking her head as if she doesn't understand, Yu-oh extends her hand to Kang Min-hee. In any case, there is something I must give to the Distinguished One. Please stop by the nether ghost realm for a moment. Kang Min-hee looks at Yu-oh with a somewhat skeptical expression and asks, I heard from Seo Yoon-hyun, but you're not planning to dump the position of Sacred Master of the Nether Ghost Realm on me and immediately advance, are you? Ho-ho, Distinguished One truly has great faith in Sacred Master Yoon-hyun. It's not exactly that. At least until the end, I still need to look after the children of the Nether Ghost Realm. Distinguished One would indeed make the most fitting successor, but it's not mandatory. I will swear it upon the one I serve. Before the end, I won't forcibly pass the position of Sacred Master onto the Distinguished One. Hearing Yu-oh's words, Kang Min-hee's face flushes slightly. I apologize for misunderstanding. Then, what is it that you wish to give me? What I have to give are fragments of an immortal treasure and information that will provide aid in the mantra the Distinguished One is cultivating. Thank you for your kindness, Senior. After bowing to Yu-oh, Kang Min-hee conveys the situation to Seo Yoon-hyun and her comrades before following Yu-oh to the nether ghost realm. Jeon Myung-hoon and Kim Yeon exchange glances, then return to cedarwood painting through the dimensional gate Seo Yoon-hyun has prepared. Quaidajijijik. The barrier that Kim Yeon and Jeon Myung-hoon created using Seo Yoon-hyun's power dissipates, and some time later. Quaying. A dimensional gate of a middle realm bursts apart like an explosion, and someone shouts in rage. Yu-oh, did you use the attraction force of the ghost path to sense things in advance and take the initiative? Have I missed it once again? Just how long must I remain stuck with these useless, parasitic bastards? Banta's voice transmission, laced with blood tears, resounds through the now completely vacant expanse of space. The enders, one by one, continue to grow with the passage of time. Kim Young-hoon, Jeon Myung-hoon, and Kang Min-hee each raise their respective realms, and Oh Hyun-seok also continues to grow well. And now, 2,000 years since Seo Yoon-hyun became a sacred master, with 8,000 years remaining until the end. Seo Yoon-hyun and his comrades, who have been growing and cultivating throughout the universe, all gather again at cedarwood painting. Then Seo Yoon-hyun begins to attempt something. Shortly after Seo Yoon-hyun's plan begins, all the rulers of the sun and moon, heavenly domain sense something strange. The most experienced ones, Baek-woon and Yu-oh, detect it first. Baek-woon looks up at the sky, her eyes narrowing. The celestial energy, just what is happening? Yu-oh too trembles violently. This could it be? Soon after Banta, Hae-lin, Ya-eum and others notice the anomaly as well. Jade, just what on earth is happening? The entering nirvana true persons also sense the strangeness. Countless true persons communicate with one another, seeking advice and falling into confusion. And, as expected, the owner of the Blood Yin realm, Blood Yin, realizes what is going on. Insane lunatic. Blood Yin, having identified the source of the celestial phenomenon, clicks his tongue softly. Beak Woon trembles and mutters. The end is being brought forward. Indeed, the end, originally set for 8,000 years in the future, is now being brought forward. Half the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, 7-8 minutes. It is only half a tea session, but without a doubt the end is drawing closer. Even now, the attraction force of the heavenly domain continues to increase in real time, drawing the end closer by the time it takes to blink. Although it is not an amount of time significant enough to bring alarm, it is a grave matter. Because if the cause of this acceleration remains unidentified, the speed at which the end approaches could increase drastically. Find the cause. Blood Yin, we must seek advice even if it's from Blood Yin. Search the entire universe. If anything suspicious is found, report it to everyone immediately. Countless true persons of the entering nirvana stage scatter their wills across the universe in a panic. And while the entire sun and moon, heavenly domain stirs with commotion. In the center of cedarwood painting, Seo Yun Hyan is reciting something. Immortal cultivation is repentant enlightenment. Like tiny grains of salt gathering to form a sea. Build mountains through repentant enlightenment. Building a mountain of salt is. Wowung. Around the sacred master Seo Yun Hyan, the power of the mantra reacts, creating salt. Seo Yun Hyan half opens his eyes and gazes upward at the sky. Perhaps the fastest way to reach the heavens. The celestial energy changes. TL notes, Festival of the Eve Chinese letter, as in a that is held festival that is held on the eve of an event. Kagagugu. The entire universe trembles. The true persons shake with anger as they scour every corner of the universe. Has there been any response from Blood Yin? No reply has come. Damn it all, what in the world is it? What is bringing forth the end? Contact the sacred masters immediately. All the entering nirvanas run wild, stirring the universe to uncover the reason the end is approaching faster. And in the middle realms, Beak Woon is praying to the Radiance Hall, while Yu-Oh and Hei Lin are praying to the underworld. Ya-Eum too frantically tries to contact Blood Yin, but Blood Yin remains silent. Everyone is thrown into confusion, desperately seeking answers. However, strangely enough, the answer comes from the one least interested in the matter. Ban Ta, who is observing cedarwood painting, where Seo Yun Hyan, Kang Min-hee, and many others with the potential to advance to the sacred vessel stage are gathered, senses something amiss. What on earth is this? As he observes cedarwood painting, he notices that its attraction force has become unusual. What is going on? The celestial energy of the sun and moon heavenly domain is converging around cedarwood painting. Kik. As he observes the celestial energy, he senses something suspicious. This is, the movement of that attraction force. As Ban Ta discerns the true nature of the celestial energy's flow, he is struck with shock. Comparing the flow of the accelerating end and the attraction force emanating from cedarwood painting, he becomes completely certain of its nature and trembles. The eyes of Ban Ta, who until now has been solely focused on the true person advancement, are now clouded with horror. Being over 700,000 years old, Ban Ta knows. This is undoubtedly a flow he witnessed once before. The terror he felt the first time he witnessed it is something Ban Ta has never forgotten even until now. PH phenomena extinguishing mantra. Ban Ta's eyes roll back in shock. Wu-Wung. The entire purple gold realm vibrates. Immediately afterward, Ban Ta lets out a shout. Hear me, I Ban Ta have uncovered the cause of this strange phenomenon. Ban Ta's voice reverberates throughout the entirety of the sun and moon heavenly domain. All eyes of the true persons and sacred masters are drawn to Ban Ta's voice, which sounds intensely startled. It's the phenomena extinguishing mantra. The sacred master of cedarwood painting, Seo Yun Hyan, is using the phenomena extinguishing mantra. After Ban Ta's desperate proclamation, the entire universe falls silent for a moment. Perhaps it is because it's taking a little time for the sacred masters and true persons of the universe to grasp the meaning of those words. After all, no one could understand how a mere sacred master could use the mantra that only the tyrannical mountain god could utter. However, after a brief moment of processing, when everyone finally grasps the meaning of those words, the entire sun and moon heavenly domain quakes. Bright cold realm, heavenly lotus mountain, white jade pavilion. There Beak Woon is frantically sending transmissions to the heavenly king, heavenly domain. The rulers of the heavenly king, heavenly domain, who usually pay little attention to Beak Woon's reports. For today, the Radiance Hall opens an ear to Beak Woon's words. Is there someone using the phenomena-extinguishing mantra? Yes, there is. It is the current sacred master of cedarwood painting, Seo Yun Hyan. He was once a disciple of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect in the Bright Cold Realm. After the authority of the owner of heavenly punishment led to the destruction of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, he wandered from place to place for 800 years before advancing to the sacred vessel stage. His origin, as I reported, is the head realm. I humbly request the descent of the heavenly lords. Impossible. The heavenly lords of the Radiance Hall are currently all focused on the movements of the great mountain supreme deity. But instead, we will request assistance from Yong Seung and the Northern Dipper, 7 heavenly lords as allies. As direct descent is impossible due to the lightning sacred sea, have their disciples prepare the ritual for divine descent. Thank you, however. One of the Northern Dipper's 7 heavenly lords' disciples, Yo Hwi, is currently captured by the sacred master of cedarwood painting. The descent may not be perfect. As long as they are not the vast cold heavenly lord in their youth, an imperfect descent will suffice. Yes, certainly. No matter what, he could not possibly wield the strength of the vast cold heavenly lord in their youth. Beak Woon nods as if understanding. How long will it take for the Northern Dipper, 7 heavenly lords to descend? I do not know. Pardon, what on earth does that mean? They are currently in the outer sea, Chinese letter, trying to save their master. Contacting them is uncertain. Everything depends on fate. You should seek assistance from Yong Seung. Crackle. The true immortal of Radiance Hall, having finished delivering the divine oracle to Beak Woon, soon conceals their presence. Beak Woon grits her teeth, letting out a low groan. Those fools who only know how to flaunt their arrogance. But there is nothing she can do for now. O great agent of calendrical methods and chronicles, apostle of the Lord who governs the passing of time, I, Beak Woon, sacred master of the bright cold realm and saint of light, humbly request your assistance. Wu Weng. In an instant, Beak Woon's mind is pulled beyond the distant sky, to some unknown place. She whispers something in prayer to Yong Seung. Her wish is for the current crisis to be resolved. However, at that moment, Pajijajik, Koog. Beak Woon's mind abruptly returns to her body, and she opens her eyes wide in disbelief as she shouts. Unbelievable, what do you mean by this? Are you saying you will not assist the sun and moon heavenly domain? Are you turning your back on Radiance Hall? The Radiance Hall will not stand idly by. However, despite Beak Woon's cries, there is no one to answer her. Beak Woon's expression darkens. She sends her will to Uo of the Nether Ghost Realm to inquire about the situation, but the only response she receives from Uo is, the underworld, too, offers no answers. The South Polar ritual treasure has betrayed Radiance Hall, and the underworld side used the ghostly yin transformation immortal root to create the ghost guiding Holy Mother. And even though there is someone using the phenomena extinguishing mantra, the tyrannical mountain god does not take action. Just what in the world is going on? How could something like this happen? Letting out a deep groan, Beak Woon lets out a burst of lament. Great chaos will descend upon the sun and moon heavenly domain. The chaos of 40,000 years ago will be nothing in comparison. No, this might be comparable to the great chaos during the era of the Golden Divine. Ancient Force Realm. See King Hall. Seated on the throne within, Hei Lin's eyes tremble. Unbelievable, it was possible to use the phenomena extinguishing mantra, and that too by a mere sacred master who hasn't even lived for 10,000 years. For a sacred master to wield it, one would need to chant the phenomena extinguishing mantra continuously for at least 330,000 years while deeply understanding immortal arts. Even then, that would assume direct tutelage from that being. How on earth is such a thing possible? Hei Lin lets out a low groan, as if unable to comprehend it at all. What should I do? Should I fulfill my duty as a sacred master, or should I repay the debt as a descendant of the immortal beast Zija? What should I do? Father. True devil realm. Blood sacrificial altar. There, Ya'im gazes at cedarwood painting with an expression full of unease. What madness is this, Coatrial? Why are you assisting him with tainted soul filling the heavens? Isn't that not our goal? Huarururuk. The power of purple soul filling the heavens ripples around Ya'im. As expected, those born of the head realm cannot be trusted. In the end, did you completely lose your mind? Coatrial, if it's come to this, am I to proceed with my plan without Coatrial's aid? Letting out a small sigh, Ya'im's expression turns bitter. Astral realm. Around cedarwood painting, numerous entities begin to appear. Quasi-immortals. All the quasi-immortals of the sun and moon, heavenly domain leap across thousands of light years in their main bodies and encircle cedarwood painting. Among them, Jinlugak, a member of the same race as Seo Yun-hyan, is present as well. Chuyuak. Jinlugak, assuming a human form, speaks. I thought highly of you because we are from the same race, but what is it you are doing now? Stop this at once. However, the attraction force radiating from cedarwood painting remains unyielding. It continues to distort the surrounding space, slowly but steadily bringing the entire sun and moon heavenly domain closer to the end. Finally, the true persons erupt in fury. There's no need to speak any further. Cease the use of the phenomena extinguishing mantra. How you acquired that ominous and evil mantra, avoided retribution, and are now able to wield it is unknown. However, that mantra is dangerous. Stop using that vile devilish art at once. The true persons, who had been observing Seo Yun-hyan since the nether ghost realm, speak with a mix of anger and fear in their eyes. He is the one who grasped the true meaning of the great mountain-splitting emperor technique in the nether ghost realm. Does this mean he traced back the great mountain-splitting emperor technique to obtain the true phenomena extinguishing mantra? Was what he was using until now not just an imitation of the phenomena extinguishing mantra's power, but the real mantra? Even with the recognition of the mantra's owner, it would take hundreds of thousands of years of repentant enlightenment to use the phenomena extinguishing mantra at the level of a sacred master. How could such an anomaly exist? However, as the true persons clamor among themselves, Parrot. 5 colossal lights blossom around cedarwood painting. Simultaneously, 5-dimensional gates open, and countless figures emerge from within. Bright Cold Realm Sacred Master Beak Woon, accompanied by 6 esteemed ones of the Bright Cold Realm. True Devil Realm Sacred Master Ya'im, accompanied by 3 esteemed ones of the True Devil Realm. Ancient Force Realm Sacred Master Hei Lin, accompanied by 4 esteemed ones of the Ancient Force Realm. Nether Ghost Realm Sacred Master Yu-O, accompanied by 4 esteemed ones of the Nether Ghost Realm. Purple Gold Realm Sacred Master Ban-Ta, accompanied by 4 esteemed ones of the Purple Gold Realm. As they step forward, all of them speak to Seo Yun-hyan with stern, hardened expressions. Yu-O and Beak Woon step to the forefront. Seo Yun-hyan, listen. The phenomena extinguishing mantra you are currently chanting is among the most dangerous mantras in existence. We knew you had been cultivating with it, but we never thought you'd be able to wield and unleash its true power. We weren't even certain if it was the true phenomena extinguishing mantra, yet to think it was to this degree. I implore you, please stop using the true phenomena extinguishing mantra. You've only been cultivating with it, so you likely don't understand the full extent of its power. The true power of that mantra is truly terrifying. It is enough to threaten the entirety of the sun and moon heavenly domain, so stop it at once. I have personally witnessed the power of the phenomena extinguishing mantra from afar. Yu-O desperately tries to persuade Seo Yun-hyan. Using it will cause countless living beings to perish. Many will be sent to the netherworld, unable to find rest, and instead will be absorbed by the mantra's user and suffer eternal torment. I implore Sacred Master Yun-hyan to listen. The phenomena extinguishing mantra is an utterly horrifying devilish art. Please stop using it. And then, Seo Yun-hyan's reply is heard from within cedarwood painting. For all the countless beings who have been observing me, until now to fail to realize that what I was using was the real thing. How unfortunate it is. Without even being able to discern between the true and fake phenomena extinguishing mantra, how can seniors simply label it as a horrifying devilish art? Depending on how I use it, could it not become the starting point to saving everyone? At those words, one of the true persons shouts angrily. You, a brat not even 5,000 years old, dares to judge us with your meager experience. This immortal has seen the phenomena extinguishing mantra once before. Do you have any idea what happens when it is unleashed? Baekwoon, too, reveals her anger at Seo Yun Hyun's and speaks sharply. Most of the true persons have witnessed the phenomena extinguishing mantra. Just recalling that horrifying and gruesome devilish art is enough to make one shudder. You have never even seen the true face of the phenomena extinguishing mantra, so how can you so arrogantly claim you can control it? Save everyone. That is nothing but a path to total annihilation. At Baekwoon's voice, laughter can be heard from within cedarwood painting. To think you dare to speak before me of having seen the phenomena extinguishing mantra from afar, that it's terrifying, and question whether I understand its nature. It truly makes me laugh. Wu Wuang. Above cedarwood painting, a massive projection of glass cedarwood mountain rises. Standing at the summit of glass cedarwood mountain, Seo Yun Hyun looks down upon the true persons, sacred masters, and esteemed ones and speaks. Through the phenomena extinguishing mantra, I intend to save everyone in the sun and moon heavenly domain from the end. As for the details of how I plan to do so, I cannot reveal them since those here would be connected to true immortals and suffer greatly if I did. However, I swear upon the immortal arts that constitute my essence, no one here will be harmed. Furthermore, the end will still come in 8,000 years as scheduled. At most, it might be brought forward by a week. There is nothing for anyone to worry about. Stop this at once. Even mentioning the connections to true immortals is suspicious. Did you receive some kind of instruction from the mountain god? The phenomena extinguishing mantra accelerating the end is not the problem. The problem is that the mantra is properly used during the end. Think what you will. I expected opposition, but it's quite severe. Seo Yun Hyun smiles faintly and raises one hand. Move the stars, Seo Atrial. Dojujujujudo. The true persons and sacred masters glare in unison at Seo Yun Hyun and cedarwood painting. Under Seo Atrial's tainted soul filling the heavens, the star veins twist, forming some kind of formation centered around cedarwood painting. Kuwang. At the same time, a certain small dimension is extracted from the bright cold realm, crossing spacetime to attach itself to cedarwood painting. Kwang. It's the storage scroll of lofty dragon true person, which had been lodged in the bright cold realm. I, the rightful owner of the tears and armor of Hei Nyong, the clear scale armor, hereby declare. Wu Wang. At Seo Yun Hyun's declaration, who was granted the authority of ownership by the nether devil true lord Yu Hao Ti, the lake of the clear scale armor, buried beneath the Melia tree, is drawn out from lofty dragon true person's storage scroll and envelops the entirety of cedarwood painting. Simultaneously, bright red karmic fire erupts from the storage scroll of lofty dragon true person, dyeing the entire universe. The sacred masters and true persons retreat in shock, escaping the range of the karmic fire. Baekwoon shouts in astonishment as she watches Seo Yun Hyun burning brightly at the center of the karmic fire. That lunatic, how can he remain composed in the center of the karmic fire? It's impossible for a living being to be free of sin. Did he undergo judgment in advance? Sizzle, 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 sizzle. The entire cosmic space seems to be cooking under the heat of the karmic fire. Wei-yang. Then, just as the true persons and sacred masters retreat, one of the 28 artificial stars within cedarwood painting enters the storage scroll of lofty dragon true person attached to the world. Now Kim Yon. As soon as Kim Yon forms a hand seal, the artificial star that entered lofty dragon true person storage scroll begins to glow brightly, connecting with Seo Yun Hyun within cedarwood painting. Wei-yang. The artificial star resonates with Seo Yun Hyun. Cedarwood painting and lofty dragon true person storage scroll begin to completely fuse, Chinese letter. The dimension of cedarwood painting devours the storage scroll of lofty dragon true person, becoming one and expanding even further. Simultaneously, on the other side of the peaceful cloud continent, another continent emerges. From now on, Seo Yun Hyun, relishing in his strengthened authority and the absoluteness of cedarwood painting, declares, the artificial middle realm plan shall begin. Thus begins the 8,000-year-long war between Seo Yun Hyun and all the beings of the sun and moon, heavenly domain. Captured by the heavenly venerable of the underworld and nearly taxidermized for all eternity. Captured by the great mountain supreme deity, leading to the total annihilation of the Wuji religious order. Entangled with blood yin and endlessly repeating death. In the end, witnessing Cohrial reduced to an earthworm, and the supreme deities and heavenly venerables laying dead. As I witnessed these events, I reflected. This world is a place where one can never let down their guard. Regression is not absolute. Though it is undeniably a powerful ability, one could experience endless death, as with blood yin or yong seung. One could be caught while regressing, as in the case of the underworld. And against absolute beings, it is not usable as a direct offensive ability. Fortunately, in the cases of blood yin, the underworld, and yong seung, I was able to rise again. However, among those true immortals above, the one who strikes me with the most fear and suffocating dread is, without a doubt, the great mountain supreme deity. No one knows better than I, who observed closely, just how persistently they exploited the fates of Hunwan and Yonwei. They are meticulous, overwhelmingly powerful, and domineering. Moreover, they are a being who consumed countless lives to build a mountain, a corpse mountain. Thinking about that mountain, it can't be more certain that they are truly an abominable devil god to the point it makes one's teeth clench. In the world of Pinglai Island, they did show me a slightly kind side. However, that was it. I am now at the sacred vessel stage. My true strength is at the entering nirvana level, and by interrogating the entering nirvana true person Yo-Hwi, whom I captured alive, I was able to learn the truth about the entering nirvana advancement and true immortal advancement. True immortality is right before me. They said to settle things above. I know their nature very well. Great Mountain is never fair or just. Only in matters related to their master do they occasionally act with a semblance of fairness. In essence, they are a colossal evil Chinese letter. Given their words about meeting above, it wouldn't be strange if they immediately attacked me with full force the moment I succeeded in the true immortal advancement. Of course, there could be additional conditions implied in meeting above, but based on my interpretation of their character, I cannot afford to dismiss such a possibility. Thus, I cannot afford to relax and idly pass the time playing as a sacred master. I must prepare, at the very least. I must be able to put up some resistance in front of Great Mountain after becoming a true immortal. Never again will I experience a horrific event like the Wuji religious order catastrophe. Thus, what I must do now is refine and temper myself with everything I have. In order to do so, I explained my plan to my comrades. My comrades each added their own ideas to help me. Whenever Yo-Hwi occasionally muttered that it was impossible, I would hang her upside down and continue listening to the opinions of my comrades. Together with Kim Yon, we devised a plan for an artificial middle realm. The plan involved gathering the entirety of the decaying corpse realms of the heavenly domain, refining them, and merging them with cedarwood painting, thereby forging an artificial middle realm. To be honest, I was personally skeptical about whether something like an artificial middle realm was even possible. But if it's Kim Yon, who inherited the extraordinary pattern law talent and evolved it into something entirely new, it seemed feasible. Of course, even so, it is impossible for it to compare to a true middle realm. However, in times of emergency, it could draw in the living beings of the sun and moon heavenly domain for protection, and it also seemed to be a significant help in safeguarding cedarwood painting until I complete my plan. Kim Young-hoon also discussed martial arts with me and greatly helped in exploring the mandala of cedarwood painting. Hong Fan also supplemented various parts of my plan, offering numerous pieces of advice to ensure its success. I came to realize that it is possible to extract and use the authority of Ohaisio, who eternally wanders within my heart essence, by exercising my authority as a sacred vessel. With this, borrowing the strength of all my comrades, I proceeded with the plan to save my comrades and all the living beings of the sun and moon heavenly domain. Kagagugu. Amidst the karmic fire, the cedarwood painting that burns as it shields itself with the clear scale armor. When that cedarwood painting fully connected to the storage scroll of lofty dragon true person, the eyes of the true persons and sacred masters widen. Given their own lifetimes of experience and accumulated insight, they immediately recognized what Seo Yun-Hyan is planning. He's creating a middle realm. Insanity. Even the heavenly craftsman only attempted such a feat after reaching true immortality. Stop him at all costs. That madman's phenomena extinguishing mantra is growing even stronger. It's exactly as the last true person said. As much as Seo Yunhyan's cedarwood painting continues to expand, and the absoluteness of its dimension grows stronger, the power and authority of Seo Yunhyan, who is embedded in cedarwood painting, intensifies, and the attraction force of the phenomena extinguishing mantra grows slightly stronger. Although the speed at which the end approaches is only marginally faster, it nonetheless increases. Everyone trembles in shock and horror at Seo Yunhyan's insane action. That insane madman. Fine, if it's war you want, then so be it. But what can we do? Don't you know about the karmic fire? We absolutely cannot make direct contact with him. Touching the karmic fire means pain worse than death. Even if we endure it and attack, what about the clear scale armor? All physical attacks will be blocked by the clear scale armor. Ya'im, contact your main body. Tell it to reclaim the karmic fire. The true persons jump around wildly as they search for a means to penetrate Seo Yunhyan's defenses. Ya'im lets out a bitter smile and shakes his head. If it's Blood Yin, he would have realized by now, but for some reason, Blood Yin shows no reaction even after seeing the karmic fire. Do not count on his help. He Lin, it's the tears of your ancestor. As a direct descendant, you should be able to control the clear scale armor. Hurry and open it now. I apologize, but I lack the authority to control that clear scale armor. For some reason, even with my abilities as a direct descendant, it does not elicit a response. There is only one explanation for this. Someone higher than my ancestor, the deputy judge, has granted Seo Yunhyan the authority to handle the clear scale armor. At He Lin's words, the true person's rampage. Blood Yin, it must be that bastard. He is the root cause of all this. Claiming to be the former chief judge, he must have granted that bastard the authority to use the clear scale armor and the karmic fire. Without a doubt, he's colluding with the tyrannical devil god, Chinese letter. I realized it ever since he occasionally borrowed the power of the corpse mountain blood sea. The true person seethe with rage as they glare at Seo Yunhyan. Then it cannot be helped. As direct contact is impossible, we must break through with authority. The true persons begin to exert their powers. Hear us, stars of the nations. Jinlugok steps to the forefront and shouts with a hardened and solemn face. We declare, the star veins of the sun and moon heavenly domain shall obey only our command. The authority of the wicked shall never encroach upon the domain of the true persons. Wu-Weng. The formation formed by the star veins, controlled by Seo Atrial, begin to transform. But in the next moment, Seo Yunhyan's illusion smiles and raises a finger. Wei-Yang. Behind Seo Yunhyan's head, the wheel rises. The true persons go berserk with madness, sealing their own vision to avoid directly gazing at the wheel. I rewrite, O formation of stars, become the threads that pull in the outer realms. Ki-Yeving. Simultaneously, Seo Atrial's tainted soul filling the heavens and Seo Yunhyan's wheel begin to move. The formation of star veins, which the true persons and Jinlugok had seized control of, instantly transforms into a formation obedient to Seo Yunhyan's command. The wheel, the attraction force of the phenomena extinguishing mantra, and tainted soul filling the heavens exert their power, pulling an immense mass from beyond the universe. Kugwigwagwa. In the shape of an eye, a decaying corpse realm enveloped in a dimensional barrier leaps through space at an immense speed and merges with cedarwood painting like lofty dragon true person storage scroll. Once again, Kim Yon's artificial star enters the eye decaying corpse realm, fully fusing cedarwood painting and the outer decaying corpse realm. O formations of stars, become the threads that pull in the growing realms. Once again, from the far reaches of the universe, beyond the interdimensional void, yet another body part of a true immortal begins flying towards this location. Beak Woon solemnly stretches out her hand. Quang. Immediately after, the incoming decaying corpse realm explodes, instantly annihilating all living beings within it. Kagagugu. The universe quakes violently, excluding Yo-O, Beak, and the other sacred masters of the middle realms. The four of them, exuding an aura akin to that of true immortals, glare at Seo Yunhyan. Beak Woon opens her mouth. Such rampage will not be tolerated any longer. Summon the decaying corpse realms 100, 1,000 times if you will. I will destroy them all before they even arrive. It must have been a realm where billions of living beings resided, yet you destroyed it without hesitation. If it's to prevent the sun and moon heavenly domain from entering your stomach, I would do worse. Have I not already said it? This will bring no harm to you all. Moreover, my intent is not to devour the sun and moon heavenly domain, nor is it to offer it to the current owner of the phenomena extinguishing mantra, as you suspect. Do you want me to swear upon the black ancient paper before the owner of names? That won't be necessary. The fact that you're involved with true immortals is already indisputable. For someone of your caliber, I'm sure you've prepared a sufficient escape route already. Yang Sujin was the same. Do you intend to continue? Seo Yunhyan locks eyes with Beak Woon. The being standing here now is not the one who used to exchange opinions with Seo Yunhyan in passing or jokingly, pursued him to push the sacred master position onto him. No, this is a being resolved to obliterate the existence known as Seo Yunhyan with all their strength, and to prevent every single one of his actions. A being who crushes the small, without hesitation for the sake of the great. That is the sacred master Beak Woon who stands here now. Seo Yunhyan meets the eyes of Yuo, who appears to be withholding her actions. Sacred Master Yuo, are you planning to step aside? I will remain neutral. Yuo calmly takes a step back from where she stands. As I cannot take any other actions without the commands of the Reapers, I hope everyone understands my stance. The true persons and sacred masters nod, and Seo Yunhyan nods as well. In any case, one sacred master stepping aside is already a great help. Seo Yunhyan then turns to another. He looks at Hei Lin, who shows a slightly ambiguous heart essence, and asks. Sacred Master Hei Lin seems to be hesitant. What will the Sacred Master do? However, Hei Lin, after appearing to deliberate over his question, hardens his expression and speaks. I am the Sacred Master of the Ancient Force Realm. I have resolved to protect the living beings of the Ancient Force Realm. Hei Lin steps forward and shouts at Seo Yunhyan. Stop the phenomena extinguishing mantra, Seo Yunhyan. Even if it's you, you cannot stop us all. A tone that carries a hint of pleading. But Seo Yunhyan only gives him a look that says he understands his will. He does not back down. Is that all? Yet all the remaining true persons and sacred masters. They only stare coldly, with no one stepping back further. Only Beak Woon speaks coldly again, merely informing Seo Yunhyan of reality. Summon the decaying corpse realms as many times as you wish. Call forth the stellar systems as well. I will crush them all, no matter how many times they come. At that, Seo Yunhyan smiles. Then, as you wish. Immediately after, next to Seo Yunhyan's projection, another massive projection appears. It is a woman clad in a navy blue robe, her hair dyed azure blue. By my authority as the Holy Mother who guides the dead, the deceased shall come to my embrace. Kang Min-hee, who has reached the sacred vessel stage, raises one hand and extends it towards the remains of the decaying corpse realm that Beak Woon had just destroyed. The recently slumbering dead shall return to the embrace of I, the incarnation of Nether Crossing. Kiyeving. At Kang Min-hee's proclamation, the souls of the living beings from the decaying corpse realm that Beak Woon destroyed are sucked into her like beams of light. That's not all. Wu Wuang. In this world, everything possesses a soul. This applies even to pebbles, simple winds, dust, and flames. When such souls lose their place, they head toward the source river after death. And the same is true for a world. The soul of the decaying corpse realm being pulled into the source river can be seen. Yet at Kang Min-hee's call, the soul of the decaying corpse realm stops abruptly and is instead sucked into her. It seems her authority over the dead slightly surpasses the laws of the source river. Whether this is because the owner of the source river is absent or because her authority is intertwined with the heavenly venerable of the underworld, often referred to as the true god of death, remains unclear. Wowung. Kang Min-hee places the souls of the destroyed decaying corpse realm and its living beings into cedarwood painting. Seo Yunhyan immediately places those souls into his heart essence and replicates them within the canvas of myriad forms and connections. A portion of Ohaisio's authority, which summons the power of beings from the past, combined with the sacred master's authority to extract what exists in the heart essence into reality and make it permanent. He manifests the bodies that the souls once possessed in the past, inside his heart essence, and extracts them into reality through the sacred master's authority. Thus, through the combination of Kang Min-hee, Seo Yunhyan, and Ohaisio, all the deceased living beings are brought back to life with their physical bodies restored. That is not all. Hyun-seok begins to exert his strength. Hallelujah. Although he is still the lowest in cultivation realm among Seo Yoon-hyun's group, being only at the grand perfection integration stage, he was able to find his authority when he exited Pingla Island. The dense power of primordial chaos saturates his entire body. Within the purple mist, Hyun-seok grasps the soul of the decaying corpse realm that Seo Yoon-hyun absorbed. Woven. Everything intertwines. In the midst of chaos, reality and illusion seem to blur and shift faintly, and the remains of the decaying corpse realm, which should have been outside, are drawn by the soul of the decaying corpse realm and suddenly appear inside cedarwood painting. Payet. As Kim Yeon's consciousness domain moves, the artificial stars combine the shattered remains and the soul of the decaying corpse realm, reconstructing the decaying corpse realm inside cedarwood painting. This is the power of the liberation law talent. The decaying corpse realm, reassembled within cedarwood painting, soon melts into it, expanding the size of cedarwood painting once more. After completing this sequence of events, Seo Yoon-hyun's attraction force has grown even stronger. Seo Yoon-hyun meets Baek Woon's gaze and speaks. How many times did you say you would destroy it? Go ahead. No matter how many times you destroy, it's useless to us. Seo Yoon-hyun looks back at his comrades and smiles. We have the Wuji divine demon, lightning harbinger, ghost guiding holy mother, the hope of the great azure heaven creation sect, including the owner of the wonderfully mysterious fortress. Countless heroes stand here. Give up. Baek Woon stares at Seo Yoon-hyun with an expressionless face, before exchanging transmissions with the true persons and sacred masters. After murmuring amongst themselves in cosmic voices, they soon reach a decision and fix their gazes on Seo Yoon-hyun. Very well. Then we shall engage you in the proper manner of a middle realm invasion strategy. Ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. A strange sound resounds, and Baek Woon, along with the true persons and sacred masters, simultaneously begin to unleash their domains. Even if it takes hundreds, no, thousands of years, we will stop you, Seo Yoon-hyun. The domains of the true persons become imbued with the power of immortal arts. Simultaneously, some kind of mark seems to be engraved within the domains of all the sacred masters and true persons. Beyond that mark, a certain scene begins to materialize. Baek Woon's eyes seem to burn fiercely. The colossal forms of the true persons collectively begin to heat up. I, as the sovereign of a world, designate calamity upon the entirety of cedarwood painting. The true persons and sacred masters combine their powers, constructing something within their domains. It is a star. Seo Yoon-hyun understands what they are doing. It is something he experienced once before in the nether ghost realm. The true persons are combining their powers to interfere with the plane of fate. I prophesize this. The defense enveloping cedarwood painting will inevitably reveal a flaw in 400 years, and through that flaw, cedarwood painting shall collapse. Before Seo Yoon-hyun's eyes, something is reflected. The barrier of clear scale armor and karmic fire, and the dimensional veil of cedarwood painting, created through the phenomena extinguishing mantra, tainted soul filling the heavens, and the absoluteness of the decaying corpse realm itself. It is a scene showing a small crack forming 400 years from now in that barrier, though the circumstances are unknown. TSD. Beyond the world formed by the combined domains of the true persons and sacred masters. There a new star appears. The star begins to cross into reality under Baek Woon's will. The star crosses into the plane of fate in reality and connects with the star veins of the entire universe. At the same time, Seo Yoon-hyun feels it. That a prophecy of fate, like the time with Blood Yin, has been inscribed upon his cedarwood painting. A prophecy and the designation of calamity. And through fate and history, a true battle of the immortal family, one that may span thousands, even tens of thousands of years, begins.